entertained. Is this not why you are here?
All right. This mic's gonna fall off of this thing.
Yeah, it's coming down.
All right, class is in session. You are correct. Welcome to the show. Why I'm not leaving the manosphere? Seems like everybody wants to leave the manosphere. But like a bad case of venereal warts, never goes away.
No.
Rollo never goes away. Live from Las Vegas, this is National News. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the shit show. By the way, to encourage anybody and everyone to just chime in with a super chat if you have a question about anything today. It's going to be a little bit more user-friendly, user-directed today because why not? It's this is engagement media, and apparently we need to be doing more of it because that's what everyone else is doing. But before we do that, let's go back in time. Which is a lot of guys keep asking me, do you think that, and I think we talked about this last time I was here, was like, do you think that the red pill is going to go mainstream?
Yes,
and I'm like, well,
it
depends on what you think is mainstream. First off, is it like, are we going to see it on CNN or MSNBC? Or is it? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, well, and the big term of 2024, Anderson, is the manosphere, and we're all living in the manosphere now.
Ooh, really? Are you going to hear about it around the water? What's this new red pill thing? That's. I don't think so. I answered that yesterday. I hope not, because the red pill is something that is, one of the reasons why we use the red pill as an analogy, and a lot of people, when they hear it, or they'll hear certain things like the red pill or unplugging, like I'll say unplugging from the matrix, or your blue pill or your purple pill or whatever, that kind of stuff. And I think when an immature mind kind of doesn't get the metaphor, that's one thing I try not to use online is metaphor and allegory, and because everyone will take it literally, automatic. The blue pill's not really the right allegory for that. Let me tell you exactly what I think, right? And so you have this literalist kind of mindset that like kind of tears all that stuff apart. I hope not, because what I was a little bit more concerned about with the red pill going mainstream, I've been talking about this for a long time. If you go back to like say 2012, 2013, Roosh even said, hey, this is the year, it was 2013. This is the year that the red pill is going to go mainstream. Like, still waiting for my red pill mainstream check. It's not in the mail. Hasn't shown up in the mail yet. And then in 2018, I did a State of the Manosphere address, which it's on the 21 convention site, but it's something I'm proud of. I don't, you go look at it. I think it still holds up very well today. Yeah. And I talked about
Rollo doesn't hate, you know what I'm saying? He just,
I don't hate the stuff that I did. Yeah. I think I did some pretty good stuff. I thought that was a very good, and if you go back and I was actually reviewing that for yesterday's show. Right. And I was like, man, a lot of this stuff that I was talking about just 2.5 years ago, is coming to pass right now. And I did in that show, or in that talk, I did a SWOT analysis. Do you know what a SWOT analysis is? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think it's like what a company will do, like when they're trying to brainstorm, like where are we going to take this company in the next like 3 years or 5 years or something. Absolutely. So it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so I was kind of breaking down like what's the manosphere, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and as if it was, we're all in this together, so let's talk about this. And one of the things one of the threats, I think, was either weaknesses or the threat. I think it was the threats. I said, there's the red pills at some point is going to have sort of a PR crisis. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's not, a crisis isn't really the word, but like we're going to get to a point where it goes mainstream, and then the people who are taking it mainstream, my main concern was that the people who are supposed to be an authority on the red pill aren't necessarily the authority that ought to be out there telling the story of the manosphere, right? Or the red pill, or what is this about? Because people use the red pill in so many different ways and in so many different contexts right now that it gets really very confusing. So when you throw something out that sounds like, oh, it sounds like a buzzword, it sounds like a catchphrase, it sounds like something that is easy to hate on, right? It's it's a convenient villain, is what I called it.
Yep.
And so when you give somebody like, it's like the alt-right, or it was the red pill, or it was, just something that sounds sinister. And it's easy to for kind of simple minds to sort of understand.
Yeah.
Well, you can turn it into anything you want to at that point. So the red pill can be about politics. It can be about religion. It can be about anything. And to me, it's always been about intersectional dynamics. And like I keep saying, I wish there was some better term, some better abstraction we could use, but it's still, the analogy from the Matrix movie still fits to this day. And I don't think it's going mainstream in the way that I think a lot of people would like to see it go mainstream. But my concern is that even if it did go mainstream, I would be a little bit concerned about the message that is being made. This is official. This is really what the red pill's all about, because I think we're still kind of sorting that out.
So
there you go. 2021, March 1st, 2021. Ooh. Yes. Yeah. Every now and then I have to drag this out, especially when we start seeing stuff happen like, I don't know, the clusterfuck in Miami last weekend. Just a reminder, I was here before this guy.
Bullshit they put me through had one singular objective, and the objective was to make me say sorry. I was the symbol of resistance, and all they wanted me to do was say sorry. That's all they wanted, because once they get that, he's not top G anymore. Look, he was top G. We hit him with the system. Look, he's sorry. Look. See? That's your hero? And they can't fucking stand that I've never said sorry. Put me back in that shitty room in the Romanian dungeon for 25 fucking years, and I'll leave with a big beard, and I won't say fucking sorry. Because the second I say fucking sorry, all of this work was for nothing. Because me saying sorry, me breaking, would break the hearts of all the young men who believe in me.
So I'm sorry to anybody who is offended. I'm sorry to anybody who's offended.
There you go. Yes. So it's all over now, correct? Are we done? Can we turn the page on this? God, I hope so. What about this? Maybe we should are you not entertained?
Never let a man fuck your bitch. Oh no. Oh my God. Never. No. No way. Wait, no. This ain't going long. Oh my God. Told y'all. Told y'all. Wait. Like said, what are you doing? Why you didn't get him good training? You set him up. Yo, what the fuck? Bitch, now fuck you up. I gave her back shots. Yes. This moment. Oh my God. I fucked your bitch and I fucked you up. I fucked your bitch and I fucked you up. Get up. This is all a setup. Get the fuck out. This is all a setup. Yo, I fucked you up and I fucked you up. I fucked you and I fucked you up.
Oh shit. Lena, I have a question for you, Lena.
I'm very proud of him. It's really hard, and he's still a winner because he's got me.
Jason.
Did you hear that one girl in the back?
What? Yeah.
Dangerous person in the world. We're producing millions of them, and that is a lonely, young, broke male. Dogs are happiest when they're lying on top of you. The worst thing you can do to a dog is leave it alone all day. And what we're doing to young people is they are leaving others and themselves alone all day. We're separating from each other. We're becoming less social. And there's a group of men receive well at school, don't find a source of pride. Auto shop, metal shop, wood shop's gone away. They go online to date.
Metal shop, wood shop, auto. That's been gone since before I was in high school. Bro.
Majority of them get rejected. If your average attractiveness in online dating, you have to swipe right 200 times to get a single coffee. If you set up 5 coffees, you'll get 1 will actually show up. 4 of the 5 will ghost you.
Does this guy even know how fucking people date in the 21st century? Coffee dates? Get the fuck out of here.
5.5 years. And that last year I started talking to this guy who was in a band. And
his name was Jake Cope.
And ended up visiting him one day in LA. I drove to LA and spent 3 days with him, and he said, break with your boyfriend, move to LA.
Yep, that sounds like Jake. Okay.
And then literally it was went there on a Friday. That Monday I broke with my boyfriend.
Fucking drummers.
And then I was with for 5.5 years. Oh wow. Yeah.
Was he a good guy?
No regret.
Was he a great guy?
Oh, the band guy off.
No, the first guy.
Oh, he was such a good guy.
Speaking of good guys, anybody, do you know who Peter Steele is? From Typo
Yeah.
Negative?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone now, but like, this is interesting. Yeah, there you go. Alpha Widows. Alpha Widows, my friend.
Still making a post.
Yes. And remember, this is like when did Peter Steele die?
Like
back in
09 or something?
09 or something? Yeah. I mean, and the Typo Negative wasn't even a thing.
Oh, she got a type.
Yes.
Negative.
Yes, she does.
Hi. Good morning, America.
Really handsome.
You look gorgeous.
Okay, this unseen footage will shock you.
Babe, that's deep in there. Give them cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sex sells.
Pay close attention.
Sex sells, babe.
It goes against everything in the narrative being displayed now.
You need a God and it's not you.
That's me.
That's against religion.
Believe me, this gets even worse the deeper we go.
Hi, I'm JT Massey.
Hi, I'm Erica Franze.
So we've got the joking about her religious values.
That's me.
That's against religion.
We've got a confirmation of living in California.
I currently live in Venice, California.
And now also stating she lived in China.
Because I've lived in China, I've lived in Chongqing.
There is a lot to unravel. I'm still analyzing it.
Modern day gypsy.
Yeah.
In the last video, I broke down the acting career. This video is different from everything that we see today.
God, I was gonna see if I could. I didn't dig it up, but I was gonna see if I could find that video of Charlie Kirk. I think he was with her at TPUSA, and he was just talking about like, oh, you got to get married and you got to do it early, and it's like, guys, oh, I know what it was. It was the one where he was saying, you guys shouldn't be playing video games until your wife is completely taken care of. I'm like, dude, this is the chick. This is your bitch right here. Like, God, it's funny to me because like when that's pretty good. Thank you, Sam. Yes, you're correct. It is now, anyways. Back in the 80s, it probably wasn't. Back in the early 90s, it probably wasn't. But yeah, Charlie Kirk knows the truth now. I'm pretty sure he knows the truth now. I hope he does. Here we go.
Actually, they're setting these insane standards. Very, very superficial standards. I mean, you see it on social media. There was that whole trend of like, I want a guy in finance who's 6'5", blue eyes. Did you see that? She wrote this whole song about it. Yeah. And it's a joke, but it's not. Because they have this image in their mind of what kind of guy they want. When you look at those numbers of the percentage for both men and women of men who are whatever height they want, make 6 figures plus, are single, are not overweight.
It's a rounding error. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Well, put me in really quick. Thanks, Chris Williamson, for confirming everything that me and Mike have talked about on damn near every show of Access Vegas since show number 1. We have been doing the calculator, the female delusion calculator, which is exactly where she's pulling these stats from. Weight, height, income, all this other stuff, a rounding error. Guess what? Congratulations, you played yourself. How come you can have Brett Cooper on your show talking about basically the same stats that we have been talking about for over 3 years now on Access Vegas, but you won't listen to me, you won't listen to Mike Sartain, you will listen to Brett Cooper say exactly the same fucking data, the same fucking stats, and you're going to take her seriously. Okay.
Yeah. And the same goes for women. If you want a woman who is not on the left, is not on any kind of antidepressants, not obese. Yeah. I mean, and again, tiny. Obviously, I'm not saying have no standards, the bar is, on the floor, but you also have to meet people where they are, and you also have to know what you're bringing to the table. It's like, who is your equal partner in the dating marketplace?
Do you think that...
Congratulations. There is no equal partner, period. End of story.
There's a case for settling in that case?
I don't think of it as settling. I think of it as being, again, aware of what your options are and what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, being realistic about what your options are. Thank you. There's been no fucking greater message in the fucking manosphere, in red pill schools of thought, whatever you want to fucking call it. She's basically red pill. Congratulations, Brett Cooper. You have finally you've become a rational male. Here's your rational male, your membership badge, whatever the fuck it is. And last but not least, it would not be a show if I did not put Betancourt.
Absolutely not. Do not do this for the money. Don't do it for the money. I promise you. You will not make a dime if you do this for the money. Money will come, or I don't even, fame is kind of an embarrassing thing to say, but your success will come if you just let it go. Let it go. Don't do it. Don't do it for the fame. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it because your friends think it's cool. You got to sacrifice. It's not the sacrifice necessarily sleeping in a rehearsal space, but you got to sacrifice your emotional sort of everything that you have in you has to go towards it, or nobody's going to believe it. And that's really the essence of all of it, is like an audience wants to go with you. You take your audience with you when you perform, when you play. It's not about, you're not performing for them. You're not like impressing them. You're actually saying, do you want to come with me? And then they'll keep coming back to go on that journey with you. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Yeah.
There you go. Nuno Betancourt. Are you guys, so that's my philosophy, by the way. That's Tomasian philosophy. You guys want to come with me? You want to come with me on this journey? Because I'm not sure as shit ain't doing this for the money. I mean, please throw me some bones here with a super chat or two, but it ain't for the money. And it ain't certainly not for the fame and the glory or whatever else is going on here, because I ain't in the cool kids club, right? I'm the old guy, right? I'm the dude who's needs to hang it up because I'm either 50, I'm 70, or I'm 90. I don't know what, depending on who you're asking. But the thing is that I like Nuno because I think he has a really great outlook on life. But I mean, he applies everything towards playing artistic merit and playing guitar and stuff like that. But I can remember one of the reasons why this video has always stuck with me is because when I first started writing and having these conversations about intersexual dynamics, I took a keen interest in really kind of human behavior because I was in college at the time. I was in UNR. I was at the university, and I can remember I was working as a art director for a casino in Reno. Well, actually, 3 casinos in Reno. And then in my downtime, when we were doing promotions or something like that, I was always in the clubs. I was always at an event. I was always doing promotions and stuff like that. And I was quietly taking notes on just people watching, just sort of mental notes. And those ended up becoming posts on the SoSwab forums, and then discussing, game and discussing what would later become, quote unquote, the red pill or the praxeology of intersexual dynamics, however we're going to explain it. And I wasn't writing this stuff because I didn't make any money off of this. I was just having conversations because I found it interesting, and it was for the just sort of the intrinsic reward of having those conversations, because it was finally, you had this consortium of guys all over the world who were coming together on these forums. We didn't have Facebook until 2006. We didn't have, YouTube jumped off about 2007, 2008, and it wasn't owned by Google then. It was just YouTube. And then, then you had, Instagram, then Twitter came up around that same time, I think, as well. Shit, I remember MySpace. Remember MySpace? Yeah, God.
I barely remember that.
And so, social media was in its infancy, but like where the work was getting done, where the conversations were happening, were in the forums, and they're still happening today. To its credit, SoSwab forum is the SoSwab.net. The forum is still there, and it's still active, and it's still going on. It still has hundreds of thousands of members still, and it's been around since 2002, and it's still going off right now. So there you go. What's this? Yes, I did return to Rule 0 with a drink in my hand, although it was my coffee. It was Devil Mountain coffee. Thank you very much. Yes, I did do. I went and did a Rule 0 yesterday. You're welcome. Thank you. And which, by the way, is kind of on topic for today's show. I'm gonna get into that here in just a little bit. But I was having those conversations because just for the love of having those conversations, just because it was something that I was into. I started my blog because people kept saying you need to have a blog. I noticed that like Roosh and Royce had their blogs going off. I started my own, and that's how I became one of the 3 R's of the Manosphere back around 2010, 2012. And I had the second most trafficked blog in the Manosphere at that time. It was actually Royce, which is now Heartiste.org, which is now no longer a thing. But those were the blog years. So you went from the forum years, with the forum years technically still going on right now, but the forum years were, I would say, probably like 2001 up until about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And then you had the blog years. The blog years were from about 2010. Well, for my blog, it was 2011 up through, gosh, I'm still going. I mean, I still have my blog is still up right now. I'm still writing on Substack, although it's a little bit different forum. And then I was a moderator at So Suave right up until 2014. I couldn't keep up with it anymore. But I still know Alan. I still know the guys who run So Suave. I go and lurk there every now and then when I want to like talk about something like, a new topic or something. What I find out what's going on with these guys. I wish I was a little bit more participatory in it, but it is what it is. But I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say that it's still around. Of all those forums like Alt Fast Seduction and the Venusian Arts and Mystery Method and all that stuff, all the rest of those forums fell by the wayside. Hell, even Reddit, the Reddit Red Pill forum got, as we know, I was ranting and raving about this last week. The Red Pill forums on Reddit got quarantined, and they basically drowned the baby in the bathwater is what they did, and so that's not even around anymore. The only real, I would say, Red Pill / game forums that are around is still So Suave, which I'm glad to say is go look up my name, Rollo Tomasi, on So Suave. You'll still find my oldest posts on there, dating all the way back to like 2003, I think. But man, I mean, that's how long it's been going on. That's how long I've been in this. And I started, as Nuno was saying, I started this because it wasn't about the money. There was certainly no fame to it. I didn't even show my face until 2017 at the 21 convention. I can't leave the Manosphere. I am the fucking Manosphere. I am the Red Pill. I am the game. I am all of that. There's no way I'm pivoting out of this. So I love it when I see these. I was just seeing, Will Spencer is it Will Spencer? Yeah, Will Spencer, who had done like I remember he interviewed me for this documentary thing he was doing. And I want to say it was like 2019 or maybe it was before that, maybe in 2018. And I kept telling him, I said, stay away from Anthony Johnson, man, stay away. And like, he's just been doing these interviews with, I forget who it is. Well, I guess it was the Will Spencer podcast. I guess it's his thing. He's got his thing calling this 2-part series going on right now about leaving the Manosphere. I'm like, you never leave. You will never leave the Manosphere. You understand that, right? There's no, if CNN, if Dana Bash is saying we're all in the Manosphere now, guess what? You ain't leaving the Manosphere. No one's leaving the Manosphere.
The big term of 2024, Anderson, is the Manosphere. And we're all living in the Manosphere now.
Oh no. You can't get away. You're not leaving. No, you can never leave. You can never check out. You can never leave the Manosphere, my friend. It is what it is. And the problem is like there's too many people who are muddying the waters right now and turning it into something that it was never meant to be in the first place. So anyways, I was listening. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet because it's a 2-part series, and each one of his videos is something like 2 hours long. So you'll have to forgive me, Will. Will, I used to think he was a pretty cool guy, but then he started working with Anthony Johnson, and Anthony just completely just ripped him a new one, and like he does all the fucking time. Like everyone that Anthony was working with from as far back as 2015. Like, I mean, if you look at like Socrates, you look at George Bruno, you look at I think 90% of the people who if not 100% of the people he was working with when I was on there, he is essentially alienated. He goes through this cycle of just completely mischaracterizing these guys. If you're not on board with this sociopath, then you are you're ostracized. And quite honestly, I think it runs in the family, because if you know anything about what happened to his brother recently, is going down for murder one of his, I think it's his mom. Like his brother murdered his mother. And I'm like, yeah, stay away from that family. There's something definitely wrong with that. But the entire thing is just, it became a clusterfuck back then. And the reason why I'm glad I sort of left that organization or was out of that, I'm just like, you know what? Vaya con Dios, man. You guys go do what you're going to do, because what he was trying to do at that time was switch over the convention to be more political, to be more MAGA. I mean, the guy never takes off the fucking red hat. I mean, he showers with the fucking red still to this day, you know, and this was from back in like 2017, 2018, 2019 is where everything went down. And little by little, everybody got screwed by him. And he doesn't have the show anymore. And God knows what happened with his baby mama and all this other stuff. And it's, all I'm doing is just doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's intrinsically rewarding for me. It's not about the money. I mean, is it nice that I can make money off of, you know, writing books, 6 books now? Yes. It's awesome. I came before Tate. I came before Kevin Samuels. I came before Fresh and Fit. I came before Rich Cooper. I came before all of these guys. I was in this I could show you my earliest tweet was from 2004, where I used my earliest tweet was really 2002. But when I was using the term red pill, people keep thinking like the red pill happened half an hour ago.
You're right.
They think that
this is a 2020.
Well, that's the thing is like when I did last week or the week before, I was talking about like, you know, Sneeko and talking, oh, the red pill's dead. Well, you know how many people have been saying that since, 2009? You're not the first, trust me. And before you, it was Destiny who was saying the same thing. Trust me, the red pill's not dead. When I got people in Turkey demanding like Turkish translations of my books, the red pill's not dead, my friend. It's worldwide, it's global, it's international. It's not stopping anytime soon. And as I said before, when we got jokers like fucking Andrew Tate and Tristan, and it's like there's so much of a backlog, so much of an archive of clips of them telling on themselves. That, by the way, I didn't do that mashup of him being on Sean Kelly's show and then him apologizing to Adam Sosnick of all people. You know, I mean, I like me some Adam Sosnick, but I think the reason why people were hating on him is because Adam Sosnick is Jewish. Okay, great. Wow, what a shock that is. Like no one's known that since, I don't know, when I started working with him in 2022. You know, oh, you really like him. You must be on Team Jew. Like, this is not the manosphere. This is not the red pill. Your politics are not the red pill. Your fucking schizophrenic, whatever the fuck it is when it comes to this, like there's a Jew under every rock. That's not the red pill, okay? It's not MAGA. It's not, it's not conservative politics. That's not the red pill, okay? The red pill is the praxeology of intersexual dynamics. And don't give me this bullshit about like, well, the red pill is just truth. If it's just truth and it's just subjective, it might as well be you saying, I'm preaching my truth, right? You might as well be Oprah fucking Winfrey. You might as well jump on that same, what is it? The Nike commercials where it's like, living out your truth, girl, and some big fat black chick who's like supposed to be an athlete and she's on some huge billboard or something like that. That's you. That is you. Because it's like, well, it's, preaching the truth or, living out my truth. No, there is your truth and there's Kyle's truth, and there's my truth, and then there's the truth. We're looking for what is true. And again, I was just reading this on Twitter, and I think I might even write a article about this on Substack. But they're talking about debate. And I'm like, I've been banging that gong for a long time. There's no such thing as debate anymore. It's not a debate. Like people want to say, well, boy, did Pearl Davis really, take a hit when she went up against Anna Kasparian and stuff like. It wasn't a debate. It was an inquisition, is what it was. And I tell you what's funny is I just recently somebody was like hitting me up and like trying to like criticize. I know that these are bots, right? But one of the criticisms was, when are you going to debate that guy Alex from Playing with Fire? I'm like, dude, I did that like 2 years ago already, and I've regretted it ever since because it wasn't a debate. It's like, here, we're going to discuss how you lied about me 4 years ago. And it was like, it was just the most autistic, spurgy thing I've ever done. Thanks, Mike, for setting that up. But I mean, it is what it is. But it's funny that people can't even keep up with their own old ass, trolling bullshit. Like, please, like, update your software before you come at me. But it's the same thing. I kept saying this over and over and over again. It's like the same fucking I don't know how many different ways to say this. There's no such thing as debate anymore. It's because, you know why? Because no one cares about objective empirical truth. No one cares. No one cares about that shit. No, because it's boring. I'm boring. Fuck, look at me, man. I'm 57 years old. I have a daughter who's married herself. I've been married to the same woman. By the way, still married to the same woman. Like you guys keep saying, oh, I think you got divorced, didn't you? No, I did not get divorced. I'm not estranged from my wife. In fact, my wife has been nothing but an angel the whole time for all my surgeries and everything that I've had for the last, really the last month now. My wife has been like team Rollo forever. I mean, she is ride or fucking die. Okay. So like, don't listen to all this bullshit that anybody keeps perpetuating about like, oh, I think his marriage is on the rocks. No, it's not. I've been married coming up on 30 years. In July, it will be 30 years. And you know what? We're already planned this out. We're going to go off to Catalina. We're going to go have a good time. I might even do a live stream from Catalina Island with my wife while I'm there. How awesome would that fucking be? But that just, you know what I just did? I just killed all my chances of ever getting on Matt Walsh or ever getting on with Chris Williamson or any of these guys because I'm not controversial enough. I'm not the guy who's going to say, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk deserved to die. That's destiny. That's not Rollo Tomasi, okay? I'm the guy that has made a successful life and built a successful career or whatever you want. I don't even know what the hell to call it. By being the game, by being Red Pill, by sticking and being the most consistent voice in this niche for, coming up on like 24, 25 years right now. So it pains me to see this bullshit about, what happened in Miami. What happened with, Tate fell from grace because he's too Jewish. He's on the payroll or it's, he's the top goy. The top goy. Yeah. Really? Because you guys were on Team Tate for the longest fucking time. And that's all it took was one run in with Adam Sosnick on PBD, who, by the way, jumped all over this because he knows it's the hotness. That's not the red pill. That's not, I swear to God, man. It's like, if you're building a brand off of it, if you think you're going to get into this space, as Nuno Betancourt was saying, if you think you're going to get into this space and your motivation is money, fucking forget, especially now, fucking forget it. If your motivation is fame or building up some sort of like cult of personality or some brand building and stuff like that, really find another niche. Like do fishing channels, do gaming channels, like play guitar. I don't care. Like do, I don't know, jazz hands or whatever the fuck it is. Like do something other than this, because it stinks. The manosphere fucking stinks right now. And I understand, like, I kind of understand how Rich Cooper kind of got fed up with all this. I understand why Will Spencer doesn't want to be a part of this. I mean, he was like tearing apart Anthony Johnson right now. And I think Anthony seems like, I don't know if it's really him or not in the chat or not. But the thing is like no one wants to work with you. No one ever will. No one cares anymore, right? All that shit that you thought was so fucking important in 2019, turns out it's not. Turns out I've outlasted all these guys. And I will continue to outlast all these guys because I'm doing this because I have a real vested interest in what I'm doing. I've said this before on this show and other shows as well. I'm never going to be like super rich. I'm never going to be, unless I make it big with crypto and Miguel shows me the right altcoins to fuck with. But even then, like I'm the kind of guy who's like, I would rather use my money and use my influence and use my, e-fame for whatever it is, to help other people, man. And that's always really what it's been about. It's been about me like sticking to my fucking, my guns, man, sticking to what I've been doing for all of this time. So it's like, it pains me when I'm looking at like, Clavicular and Nick Fuentes and Sneeko of all people. Sneeko is now outclassed Andrew Tate. That should tell you how bad fucking things are right now. That should tell you how bad things are. And I got to throw one out to Fresh, because Fresh has been like criticizing Sneeko for at least the last like 6 months or 8 months right now, and he's still holding to that, which is impressive. But it's like, you're still giving these guys oxygen. Why? Why are you giving these guys oxygen? It's funny to me, and it's crazy to me actually, because I'm not a guy that like I'm not gonna throw rocks and glass houses, right? I'm not gonna do that. But the thing is like when somebody fucks you over, like believe them, right? If somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time, right? I know it's hard to do. It's hard for me to do because I want to see the best in other people. And like, who was it? It was Ryan Stone told me one time, he says, Rollo, you're very red pill when it comes to chicks, but you're not quite as red pill when it comes to guys. And he's right, because like I put my trust, I want to see the best in people. And I want to put my trust in people, and I want to help people out who I think need my help. Right. When we play, when I play, Jesus Christ, there's Lisa Sparks, man. No. Oh, wait, at least let me put this up here really quick. Right. So thanks, Ryan Stone. Yeah, Ryan Stone. This is not Ryan Stone, but this is funny as fuck. Why is it Lisa Sparks? Why is it Lisa Sparks? I have to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get me I'm going to put a picture of me and Lisa Sparks and get AI to like put us together like going out somewhere, like, avoiding the paparazzi or some shit like that. I mean, why? Where did Lisa Sparks come from? I want to know. I really do. How come it's not like Kendra Lust? How come it's not like, how come it's not like one of the chicks from the show, right? From Access Vegas? How come it's not one of those chicks, right? I mean, it could be, let's see. It couldn't be Domo. I'm trying to think of all the porn stars. Why not Tiffany Fox, man? Like Tiffany, I spend more time with Tiffany Fox, and I don't even know who Lisa Sparks is. That's the funniest fucking thing. Take my shirt off, Rollo. Would you like me to? Sure, I'll take my shirt off. Who is Lisa Sparks? Lisa Sparks is, I think she's a porn star, isn't she?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Look up Lisa. Don't put it on the screen. Don't put it on the screen, but like look up Lisa Sparks.
I'm pretty sure we did this last time.
Didn't we? I
feel like.
She's not. I mean, she's old. She's an old porn star, right? Lisa Sparks. I know. Like, are you confusing her with CJ Sparks? Because, oh God, no, I would never. That chick is too much woman for me. That chick is big. How old is she?
Let's find out.
She is married to Jeff Sparks. Her actual
49.
Name, 49. Well, I guess she's younger than me. No, if I was going to go for a MILF, it would not be. It would not be Lisa Sparks. Lisa Sparks. Why? Like what is it? What fetish do you have with Lisa Sparks? I mean, there are some good looking MILF porn stars, like Brandy Love. Definitely good. Like that would be. How come not Brandy Love? How come I can't be like associated with Brandy Love? I don't understand. All right, let's go here. Woohoo! Rollo on Rule Zero again was awesome. Yeah, I did Rule Zero on Jack Napier's channel yesterday, and. So why did I do that? Because I was in the hospital, as you guys know, during Christmas time. So when I was recovering, oddly enough, I started just out of the blue. I started getting texts from Myron, and Myron's like, "Hey man, we need to put together a panel show, talk about real red pill topics." I was like, "Yes, we do." Right? This is long before the Miami, that song, Burnout, right? And I'm like, yeah, we do. We really need to get back to, especially in 2026 right now. I think it's important that we start getting back to basics, and we start. And I feel kind of bad almost because I want to have those conversations just for me because I want to do it, right? I want to have those conversations, but also so it can be sort of a clarifying resource for people to understand what the red pill is really about, what the manosphere was originally supposed to be about, right? No guy is better off because of some limo ride to some B-list club in Miami where everybody's doing Roman salutes and playing the Ye song, who I'm not going to talk about because it's YouTube. And and then Sneeko's now on top of his game. Clavicular runs over a motherfucker
and wins.
Runs over like really? Did that guy die?
No,
he didn't die. Okay,
he's alive.
Ran over. See, that's the thing. The Cybertruck is not heavy enough to kill a dude. Was that even a thing, or was that a shtick? This is the thing that I always have to like. I'm gonna throw this one out here because I can remember in 2021 when ABBA and Preach first came after Myron and Fresh. And this was August. I remember this distinctly because I was there when it happened. It was August of 2021. And Abba and Preach went after these guys talking about, oh, they're misogynists. And they'd been on the show a few times. And I already was kind of sketchy about Abba and Preach anyways. Turns out Abba's like a very good friend of Destiny's. And Melina, whatever her fucking name was. Yeah, her too. And I remember they were giving him shit. And I called him up and I said, I called up Fresh. And because I was in Miami when it went down. I said, dude, are you seeing what's happening? I was there for an extra day. I'm like, hey, let's go on. Let's go live right now. We can just nip this in the bud, right? And they were just like, no, we just laugh at that stuff. And they just kind of blew it off. And then it snowballed into this big thing where like, oh, I think this is the end of Fresh and Fit. And it was August of 2021, right? They had just got off the ground in January of 2021. And everybody was saying, oh, they're going to lose subs. That back when anybody cared about subs, right? And I'm like, no, this is what's known as a controlled burn. And they lost 30,000 subs as a result of that quote unquote scandal or whatever it was that Abba and Preach were trying to wipe off on Myron and Fresh, right? And turns out that the number one most super chatted show on planet Earth in any market was Fresh and Fit the months of August and September to the tune of about $150,000. So they lost 30,000 subs, but they made $150,000 off of the hype and the contentiousness of that whole thing. And then by October of 2021, they were at 400,000 subs by then. They had already recovered the 30,000 and had more on top of that. So it was what's called a controlled burn, right? You burn away the parts of the force that you don't want, and so that new growth happens. Same thing happened. Remember when Miranda was a thing with Fresh?
Oh yeah.
Remember when that was going down? I was going to Miami to talk to them to go on the show again. And right before I left, I gave both Miranda and Fresh were live streaming on my show from Fresh's car and talking about it. And it was like this big deal that he'd bought her some jewelry or something like that. And oh, Fresh is simping. He's falling off, blah, blah, blah. Turns out, big nothing burger. Do you remember when Ethan Klein was going after Myron and Fresh, saying that, oh, they had an underage girl who was drinking there and she was like SA'd by Myron. Turns out that was nothing because Myron had all the receipts for that. Myron had all the text conversations. They did a full-on show, made tons of money off of the super chats during that show. Almost as if a lot of this stuff was planned, was designed this way. And even if it wasn't, they already know what to do when those scandals come up, right? That's how they play the game. So it's no longer about really the message and everything that they're talking about or the show itself. It's about generating that buzz, generating that click-through rate, basically is what it is. And then you got
contingency plan after contingency.
And then we got Then we got
God wants you to have the baby.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Remember that? What happened to the baby? Where's the baby? Where's the child? The dingo ate your baby. Like, where is the baby? There was never any baby. And you know what's funny is people like we had Daisy Fit, Ling Ling. We had Daisy on the show. We had her on Access Vegas.
Yeah.
And Mike didn't even know it was her, right? Because Mike's the one who booked her. And I was like, I talked to her, and I went to Mike and I said, this was before we had her on the show. I said, Mike, you realize who this is, right? And he goes, I go, oh my God. He finally put two and two together. He goes, that's the chick that the baby mama for Fresh. I go, yeah, well, there was no baby involved whatsoever. This was after the fact. And people thought we were trying to take a hit or take a swipe at Fresh and Fit because we had Daisy on Access Vegas.
Yeah.
Mike didn't even know who it was. I'm the only one who like put two and two together. And then I told Mike. So we called up Fresh and we said, hey, Fresh, is it okay if we have her on? Because we would have booted her off if it wasn't. So we asked because it was an honest mistake. We didn't know like it was her. And she didn't even say much. She didn't add much to the conversation. She was all right. She was cool. I took a picture with her. That was all right, whatever. But the reason why it was okay is because it was a big nothing burger. There was no fucking baby. There was no nothing. And so now we're amping it up to Miami and a song that's being, who played the song? Did you play the song? Did you play the song? Who played the song? And I said this is that, and I put this as a tweet. And people gave me grief about this. And I'm going to tell you why they gave me grief about this. But I put this as a tweet and I said, wait, by next week, maybe, by next week, people aren't going to care. No, they're going to be moving on to the next story. Like there's a cycle of shit like this. And it really doesn't last more than a week. And these guys know that it doesn't last more than a week. Same thing with Adam 22, which is why I put the boxing match on there. Aiden Ross is a master of this shit, man. It's engagement media. Remember when Adam 22 hyped up the porn movie between Lena the Plug and Jason Love. Remember that? That was like what, 2 years ago? Something like that. They made more money off the hype than they did off of the actual movie, right? Or whatever it was, was it DJ Academics had a watching party for the thing. Like, that's how, like, he picks up on this, and you had Matt Walsh saying, "I can't believe there'd be a guy who would let another man fuck his wife," and it was just like, and they knew that by doing this and coming out 2 weeks before the release of the movie or whatever it was, it's not the event, it's the hype that leads up to the event, and it's exactly what they did with the boxing match. The boxing match lasted 30 seconds. They had 500,000 live views to watch a boxing match that lasted 30 seconds where Adam 22 didn't throw a single punch. It's like, remember in Pulp Fiction where they tells Bruce Willis throw the fight in the second round or the third round, like you're gonna feel the sting of pride. You're like, fuck pride. I should have played that from Pulp Fiction. It's like, who told him to take a dive? Well, that was the whole thing. It didn't matter who won. I mean, obviously, Jason Love's not gonna go down because he actually has a real porn career, and he's, the fact that he's even on board with doing this is kind of strange to me, but it's all about the hype. It's all about the buildup. It's all about bringing it up to the next thing. And the problem is, and I see this now, like Brett Cooper was talking about this, fucking Brittany Venti was talking, and I hate that Brittany Venti is right about this. She's definitely right about this because now she's conflating the red pill with clavicular. Same thing with Brett Cooper. Is this what the red pill's really about? Like guys breaking their face with little mini hammers or something like that? It looks maxing. That's the new red pill thing. These aren't alpha men. Or they have that one picture of Justin Waller, the Tate brothers, and I don't even know who the little guy was, but they're all in their really tight fitting suits, and they're on the dock or something right there. And of course, all it is just, you might as well put little signs around you that says make fun of the way we look, because that's all they're going to do, right? They know that's what's going to happen, but it doesn't matter because any click through is good click through. It just boosts their signal. It just amplifies that signal. And so you could say, well, these guys, these jokers are alpha males. These are, and I have to say, I understand, because remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I was talking about how the British government was forking out 20 million British pounds to educate and to like socially engineer and brainwash their young boys so that they will be immune to the effects of toxic masculinity, because they don't want their boys to think that Andrew Tate is a good role model, literally by name, Andrew Tate. And that's their boogeyman. That's their Osama bin Laden. And now you have their Osama bin Laden going on PBD and Adam Sosnick dressing him down. And now everybody hates him because they think he rolled over for the quote, the Zionists, whatever the pop name is right now. Guess what? If you're not on their team, you're the enemy. The Tates are figuring that out like too late in the game. And if maybe I've never been a part of this whole shit show anyways, but because I'm even talking about it right now I'm on Team Zion or whatever the fuck. It's like the Matrix. It's Zion. We got to get back to Zion, right? Like that's not the red pill. There was a dream that once was Rome, and this is not it. This is not it. There once was a purpose to this. There once was a group of guys who did this in spite of the money, in spite of the clout, in spite of the looks maxing, in spite of the fucking dog and pony show, bred in circuses, right? I think it's the height of irony, and I'm not going to name names, but you already know who this is. But when I he's not the only one, but like when I hear guys say, well, especially during like the time when we were talking about like a Super Bowl, when the Super Bowl comes around, everybody goes, Super Bowl football is for gays. Football and sports is it's for beta males because it's like hero worship, and you're wasting your time by watching guys run around the field and being overpaid, of athletes and because you care about football, you're a simp or you're whatever it is. And I'm like, because it's like bread and circuses. It just keeps you distracted from what's really, really important, right? Is that not what's going on in Miami? Is it not bread and circuses where everybody is like tweeting this and it's just this nonstop, like you might as well make your own channel. I mean, you should really make your own YouTube channel and just say, okay, this is the Miami clusterfuck channel and here's the latest update. You might as well do that because that's all I see in my feed right now. And that's not the red pill. No matter what Venti says, no matter what Brett Cooper says, no matter what the rest of these idiots say, oh, these guys are your alpha male hero, or is this your king, right? No, it's not. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sneeko has dissed the red pill God knows how many times. Tate has disavowed the red pill so many. He disavowed the red pill, then he was red pill again, and then he disavowed it again, and I don't know where he is right now in all of this. But he calls us dorks. He calls us dweebs, right? He's been calling me and Ryan Stone like dweebs for the longest time, but like the same thing he criticizes us for, he's talking about how he like raises his kids and everything and how he's really a family man and how he, looks after his daughter or his son sits on the couch for 6 hours with a glass of water or some shit like that. Like that's, this is the red pill. No, that's not the fucking red pill. You would like it to be because he's your boogeyman. He's your Osama bin Laden. But now it looks like he's fallen from grace. It looks like his star, there's no more shine to the star anymore, right? And so when I see this stuff, and I just have to keep reiterating this, is like, you have to look for guys who have been about it from the beginning. And I can draw attention to myself, but it's not just me. Like there's guys who do quality content still to this day. They're just drowned out by Kanye West's HH song, by Nick Fuentes, by this, the bread and circus that is clavicular, the bread and circus that is destiny, the bread and like you guys keep giving oxygen to these guys over and over and over again because that's your ecosystem. Well, guess what? That's not what the red pill is about. It's never been about that. It's never been about social shit. It's never been about ethno-nationalism. It's never been about the JQ or whatever the fuck it is right now. I guess we're past the JQ stage right now. I don't know what stage we're in. The thing is all of that stuff is not the red pill. The red pill is the praxeology of intersexual dynamics. And people need to seriously start talking about that because that's really what's going to help guys. And that's what's really going to be beneficial to people. What you might not, guess what? You're not going to make a lot of money doing that. Giving people hard, objective truths, you're not going to make a lot of money about that. They want pretty lies. You'll make a lot of money out of it. They want a controversy and they want entertainment. Are you not? That's why we went with the today's lead-in for the show for the music today. Right? You will be entertained. Are you not entertained? Are you going to like? Is that all you're here for? I keep seeing these videos about guys talking about how to have a successful YouTube channel, how to launch a successful YouTube channel in 2026. And the consensus is this: don't be information based. Like nobody cares about process. Nobody cares about 7 hot tips. Nobody cares about hanging drywall. No one cares about like educating anyone. They just want bread and circuses. They just want to be entertained. Now, if I can entertain you and give you information and educate you at the same time, so much the better. But that's not what's going on. That's why debate right now, when we talk about Andrew Wilson's a big deal. That's World War II, whatever, the shit that was going on with Anna Kasparian and Pearl and stuff like that. Why didn't I do a dedicated show about that? I could have just jumped all over Pearl for that. Why? What am I going to say that's going to make it look any worse for Pearl? What can I do? Nothing. You're doing an adequate job of screwing yourself. But again, it's not about getting to the truth. It's about, you're a fucking asshole. Don't follow that guy. Follow me instead. That's what it is. You want to know why Tate's falling down and Sneeko's on the upswing right now? Don't follow him. Follow me. Look, he lied. I didn't lie. That's debate. Why don't it would be great if Sneeko and Tate went on World War II or World War III or whatever the new debate format is and started having it out. You might as well. That's what you're doing in your live streams and your tweets and everything else anyways. Why not? Go and set up a fight. Go and set up an Adam 22 and Jason Love fight, right? Because people love that shit. They want to feel like they're engaged. They want to feel like they're having some effect on the narrative. That's why I do live streams, because you guys hit me up and give me ideas, I can answer your questions. It makes for a great show. Live streaming is the ultimate test of a podcast or an influencer or whatever. It is the ultimate fucking test. That's why I have much less respect for a guy like Chris Williamson or Tom Beaulieu or Steve Bartlett, because they're not open to criticism. And you know what? If they made a live stream where they had Logan Ury and Scott Galloway and Steve Bartlett, if you were streaming that live, Steve Bartlett, it'd be a much different show. Trust me, because my people would show up and all the people from Rumble would show up, and they would just tear you a new asshole. And you would have to, nobody I get distracted just fucking looking at the super chats here. So let's go here. God King Rollo, all I need the Lich King all hail song. Yeah. All hail. How are you feeling, brother? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing better. Things are getting a little bit easier. I would never want to live like this. I talked about this a little bit on Rule Zero yesterday. I'm glad there's light at the end of the tunnel. Did I mention this before? I have a scan. I won't tell you what kind of scan. At the end of February, on February 24th. And then if everything looks good and everything's healed up and sealed up and looks good, they're going to give it one more month after that. And then my last surgery is going to be where they reconnect everything is going to be on March 24th. So I have those dates already scheduled. And then I get my life back. Just in time for spring and summer. So it'll be great. It'll be my birthday present, which is April 2nd, by the way. So hopefully by then I will be all stitched up and back and ready to go. And that's what the great thing is I don't have to worry about any of the diverticulitis or any of the other bullshit or the fistula or anything else. To me, that's every day's a gift, man. That's what I tell Ned every day in the morning, because Ned had to go through this shit too, man. Ned had 18 months. When he broke his leg and rebroke it and everything else and got in the fight with the Rottweiler and everything, man, Ned is my hero, man. He's my inspiration for going through this shit, right? And it's funny because once he healed up and he was good, every morning, I hug on my dog. He likes to be hugged because he's the goodest boy. But of course, I'm saying this for my wife's benefit and anybody else in earshot. I'm just every day is a gift. Ned, every day is a gift. And it's true, because he's got extra innings. He should have been dead 5 fucking times, right? And I made sure that he wasn't. And literally every day is a gift for him. And so now I kind of have to put my money where my mouth is. Let's see. Like Anthony Johnson, Myron Gaines will do the same to you, Rollo. Mark my words. I don't think so, because Myron is about loyalty, and that's been a theme for him for a long time. And quite honestly, I don't have anything that Myron wants. What I say on this show, it's I'm not here to aggravate. I had remember when I did the show about James Sexton, and I'm like, this to me sounds like this is fence riding. Hell, even last week I did a brief clip about what was it, going to marriage counseling. I think it was about that. And he didn't get back in touch with me about that, but I didn't think it was that big a deal. And again, it's iron sharpens iron, right? I'm not doing this to bring anybody down. If anything, I want to make sure I have a vested interest in the manosphere being about the manosphere, the red pill about being the praxeology of intersexual dynamics. That's why I keep harping on that. That's why I say it's not a philosophy. It's not a religion. It's not a belief set. It's not a movement. It's not a tuma. It's not a system of belief. It's not a philosophy. I keep saying that over and over and over and over again, right? I'm going, and when something deviates from that, when something is bringing all the rest of us down, I'm going to say that. I have to. I'm the old guy. Remember, I'm the guy that has to go, hey, guys, remember, stick to the message. Stay on target. Stick to the message. Be about it. Do what Nuno says. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the fame. Do it because you love to do it, because it's intrinsically rewarding to you, because it's your passion. It's your life's work. People kept saying, when you die, I got this one video clip I should probably play before I say this, but when you die, nobody's going to care about you anymore. You're insignificant. Everything's gone. I'm like, well, yeah, but maybe I'll outlast most of the other guys, because I have 6 books to my name, and my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren will know what old man Rollo wrote about in 2013, in 2019, in 2022. They'll know what was going on, and this is what the situation was, and this is how Rollo used to think. This is how my ancestor used to think. And I would like to think that I put at least a somewhat small dent in the universe by helping people save their lives by this. And that's really what we have to keep in the back of our head as content creators that are part of this sphere. Whether you want to consider yourself red pill adjacent or whatever, guess what? You're in the manosphere. Will Spencer, you're in the manosphere. Andrew Tate, the rest of you guys, everyone else, you're in the manosphere. You don't get to leave. You don't get to go away. Rollo Tomasi does not get to leave the manosphere. Myron does not get to leave the manosphere. Fresh definitely does not get to leave the manosphere. You don't get to leave. You have to fucking make things better. And I keep, like, it keeps coming back into my head because I know that it was Ryan Stone wrote an essay on Substack recently talking about how a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Yeah, well, when the tide goes out, then you know who has been swimming with no swimming trunks on, right? Thank you. Who's the guy who said that? Buffett, Warren Buffett. Now that the tide goes down, or somebody else is like, bringing down the narrative, guess what? You make that for everyone else in the sphere, everyone else. People keep saying, well, Rollo, why do you have such a problem with Pearl? Primarily, it's because I have to clean up the shit. And she shits the bed. I'm the one that has to go and clean it up. And not just her. Myron or Andrew Tate or anybody else. I'm the one that has to go, no, that's not what the red pill is about. This is what the red pill is about. When I see Brett Cooper on Chris Williamson's show, and she's talking about essentially, the unrealistic standards, the delusional standards that women have, according to the female delusion calculator that Mike and I have been using, I'm going to call that out. She's essentially red pill. She's more red pill than a lot of the creators right now, because she's actually talking about it and you're not. You're worried about what's going on in Miami and what the goys are doing, or the groypers are doing. Goyim and the groypers. I don't even know how. I can't even keep fucking track of this shit. That's not the manosphere. That's not the fucking red pill. That's your pet ideology. That's your bullshit. Keep that out of here. But the problem is the same people who are doing that are the same people that get associated with the red pill and the manosphere, which is exactly what I predicted in March of 2021 on Fresh and Fit. That's why I keep coming back to that clip all the time. Whenever it's appropriate, understand, I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to tell you that that's exactly what I was seeing. And the reason why I mentioned that in 2021 is because I had already seen it happen in 2019 with guys like Anthony Johnson. They wanted to turn the red pill into this social movement. They wanted to turn it into conservative politics. They wanted it to be about MAGA. They wanted it to be about evangelical Christianity and the degeneracy of women and guys and everything else. And that's why I didn't fit in with that fucking narrative. But that and the fact that Anthony Johnson's psychotic, but that's for another show. Thank you. Can you do a show on having kids and the safest way to have a relationship with their mother from a financial, legal perspective? Oh, I think I've already done that. It was the prenup show that I did. I've already read Positive Masculinity. Good. Marriage with a prenup and postnup. Can you do that? Cohab agreement, maybe a collab with James Sexton. Yeah, I can. Jim will do a show with me no matter what. Yeah, I'll give that some serious thought. As far as like having kids, I think a lot of guys, like I have my friend Dr. Oz. He's the Turkish guy. He's basically the Turkish version of me, and he is a cosmetic surgeon. And I think he has dual citizenship. He's in Turkey and he's in the United States, and he spends like half of his year here and half of his years in Istanbul, Wisconsin. He's in Turkey. And a good friend of mine, he's actually the guy that gave me my oud. He has a kid. He's a single father, but he had a kid because he had an egg donor and a surrogate.
Okay.
And then he's doing it he has the money to do this. He's the only guy I know who specifically went and like tried and has a kid, with no woman involved other than the surrogate mother, right?
Yeah.
And so what was interesting to me is I didn't even know you could do that. You can do that if you have enough money and you have the will to actually do that, sure. But he's the only guy that I know who's actually done what a lot of guys keep saying. Hey, wouldn't it be great? You know, do you advise that there be like a single father, but, you know, by choice? Because women can do it no matter what, right? You just get a sperm donor and that's it. As much as I'm kind of in awe that the guy would go to that extreme, I still think that children do better with a man and a woman, like a husband and wife, a mother and a father who are committed to each other and committed to the rearing of the child, right? So my criticisms of guys who are, you know, by choice single fathers, which is very, very rare, it's the same thing I would say to women who want to be single mothers by choice, which is you're going to do better if you have a two-parent, you know, heterosexual, conventionally masculine, conventionally feminine mother and father. You're going to do better with that kid as a result of that. You can't, like, it's funny because it's easier to tell guys that because most guys can't do it anyways. But like, if you tell women that, they're like, how dare you? How dare you tell me I can't do what I want to do? Like, well, it's because you inherently don't trust men. But having kids, the safest way for a relationship with a mother in financial terms, I think it kind of depends on what you think your future finances are going to be. What are they now? What are they going to be? I don't think, you gave me $50, so I got to give you something good here. See, I try to make this valuable, right? I try to give you this. That's me, man. A lot of guys, like one of my primary criticisms of like people like Matt Walsh is they think that guys who follow me or guys who are like nihilistic black pill doomers or guys who are like, oh, marriage not where the juice isn't worth the squeeze. They think that they don't want to have sort of this marriage contract because it's what the boomers did or whatever. I don't know. But they think that the reason why guys don't want to get married is because they're worried about losing half their stuff when they don't have stuff to begin with, right? And then, of course, when you start the marriage and you keep going and you do things and you build a marriage, you build a life together, and suddenly she decides that she doesn't want to be involved anymore and she just wants to bug out. She's going to take half your shit that you built together. Yeah, are the divorce laws, against men? Of course they are. So how do you protect yourself against that? Well, I don't think most men go into marriage worrying too much about losing half their shit. I think the reason why they're hesitant to get married these days is because they don't want to get into a marriage where every day is a living fucking hell. It's not about the divorce so much as I don't want to be in a marriage where that woman is not 100% dedicated to me. She's not dedicated to the family. She's not bringing anything to the quote unquote table, which is like stupid in the first place. But I think most guys, if there's I'm not going to say fear because too many people use fear as they want to make an emotional appeal. Fear is an emotion, right? It's because they are cautious or they see other guys' marriages that turn into sexless marriages. They turn into a worse deal for them in marriage than if they hadn't got married in the first place. That's the hesitancy. That's the caution. I'm going to say it's fear. That's the caution. They still have the desire to get married. They still want to have that one-on-one. They still want to have someone love them. They still want to have a monogamous relationship because maybe they have religious convictions. Maybe they don't. Maybe they see it as a good way to raise children, which it is. But they're still hesitant to do so because not so much about, I'm going to lose half my stuff because the divorce, there's no upside for me. That's a really tough conversation to have with yourself, I think, because I still have that with myself too. I think you guys have heard me say this before, where when since we're on the topic of the Tates, when I listen to Tristan Tate and I read Tate say something to the effect that simping is an unequal exchange of value between like a man and a woman, right? That's how you get the guys who are like pay pigs on OnlyFans or they're simping or whatever. The fact of the matter is every man on planet Earth is simping if that's the case, because there will never be an equal exchange of value between men and women, especially if men are expected to die or risk bodily injury for women. If men are expected to go die either in a war, or if they're attacked on the street, or there's a home invasion, or if you're supposed to take a bullet for your kid and for your wife, you are expendable. You are the sacrificial sex. She is the vulnerable sex. And this is like, that's the male protector dynamic, right? That's an evolutionary, instinctual, baked into the psyche kind of thing for guys, right? If that's the case, if the state of the relationship is predicated on me dying for her, there will never be an equal exchange of value, no matter what. So how do you square that circle? How do I square that circle? I've been married for almost 30 years, right? And at some point you got to go, okay, it's never going to be an equal exchange of value. I take care of my wife. I retired her 5 years ago. She's financially dependent on me. She's very committed always has been very committed to the relationship. We have our religious convictions. I take care of her. I take care of her mother. I take care of my dogs. I take care of Sam Bada. I take care of people, right? If I can help, I will help. But I don't, there's very much an unequal exchange of value between myself and Sam Bada. Sam Bada helped me. God bless him. I love him to death. I know he's in the chat right now doing the mod. But as far as an equal exchange of value, and I don't expect that from him. I don't expect an equal exchange of value from my wife. I don't expect an equal exchange of value from Ned, right? I mean, I spent $30,000 to keep Ned alive after he got attacked by a Rottweiler. Now, granted, I got it all back. It was good. It was a wash. And I didn't know it was going to be at the time. And I was willing to do that. And, fortunately, with the insurance and the settlement and everything else, everything worked out perfectly, right? I didn't lose any money. And I'll tell you, as God is my witness, I would do it again. Because I love that dog, right? He's my best friend. And I would do that for my best friend. I've done that for other people in my life as well. Jake Cope. I've helped guys out. I've helped other men and women out, and invested in their projects, invested in their lives, bailed them out of predicaments, literally bailed them out of predicaments, got their car out of impound for them. Hell, the guy who does my theme songs for Best Head of My Life. You guys always ask me, who's this? Who's the guy at the end of what song is this? And guaranteed, I'm telling you now, somebody in the chat will go, who is this again? It's always in the description. It is Giovanni Sanders. You can get that song. It's called Best Head of My Life. It's by Giovanni Sanders, Jevani Sanders, who is going through a really bad legal battle right now with Lowe's because he was wrongfully terminated because he was a whistleblower for a sexual assault case or something like that. He's really having a time of it. But I've invested in him. Hell, I bought him a cell phone for fuck's sake, man. I've invested in his music career. I want him to move to Vegas so that we can get things going. I would love to get a band going together with him. I'm more than happy to invest in people, especially people with talent who I think deserve a fucking fighting chance. I'm there to do that. I'm good with that, right? But there's never going to be an equal exchange of value, right? I can't expect them to, and I don't expect them to. I do it because at the end of my life, I want to say, how many people did I help? Right? Oh, you're going if I died, like Kevin Samuels, you know how much money Kevin Samuels had in the bank when he died? $4.5 million was in his bank account. Now, granted, that money probably went to his kids, whoever, but he never used it. It never improved his life. He never got to go enjoy it. Right? I would much rather use that money to help other people out and see it use it as a force multiplier, right? Use it as currency. And I know money is currency, right? But when I look at money to me is like electricity, like electric current. I have this battery of money on these resources or this talent or whatever, this options network, whatever you want to call it. And I have this battery of resources. I want to be able to power other people's machines by doing that, like helping guys who I think are worth helping out. I want to be able to do that. That's why I'm never going to be like a multi-bazillionaire, because I would rather see that money go to work with other people in my lifetime so I can watch it happen instead of saying, well, I'm going to put this in my will and everybody can use it once I'm dead. No, I would much rather you see what happens with you doing it. But anyways, again, there's never going to be an equal exchange of value. With whether you're like, if you are getting married, I think that, like, guys, I think the bigger question is not, well, I want to protect my assets. I don't want to lose half my stuff. The bigger question is this: is don't ask what she brings to the table, because it doesn't matter. It still is inconsequential to the fact that you have to die for this person. you have to put your life. You'd have to take a bullet for this woman. Like, yeah, that is what's expected of you by instinct, by evolution. It's your part of your mental firmware. It's your operating system. There will never be an equal exchange of value between men and women. Okay, we know that. What do you want? Let's deal. What do you want to do? Well, those women aren't worth it. Fine. Then go your own way, do your own thing. If you still want to get married and you still feel like you need to be monogamous, which a lot of guys do. Hell, even Justin Waller has a baby mama. He has 2 daughters and 1 son right now. And I know because his de facto wife is really good friends with my wife, right? We share Christmas pictures and everything else. We're like very domestic. We're very family oriented with the Wallers, right? Justin gets involved in the Miami debacle, and I'm like, I got to shake my head. And it's not like I hate the guy. I'm just like, what are you doing? You know? But the thing is he still wants that familiarity. He still wants to have a family. He still wants to have that monogamy. He still wants to bang other chicks on the side, yes. And he can do that because he's Justin fucking Waller, right? But the thing is there's still that need, there's still that drive, there's still that want for a wife, for a continuous, like, someone to build a life with, right? There's still something that prompts you to say, I know the risks. I know there's never going to be an equal exchange of value. I know that there's never going to be any upside for me, but I still kind of want that. I still want to have that going on. How can I mitigate those risks? I don't even think it's so much about mitigating risk as it is like staying on top of your game and staying in your frame and being able to retire your wife. I don't agree with Charlie Kirk that you shouldn't play video games until your wife is like a woman of leisure. But I think that if you can get to the point where it's like you are the primary, you're the dominant force in that relationship, then you have a marriage where it's always about your frame. And a lot of people are going to say, well, I can't do that. I'll never be able to do that. Then don't get married. Then don't. I've said this before. There's no upside for you unless you really want to involve yourself in that. My being married is a life choice. There's nothing logical. I didn't go, if I marry this bitch, I might lose half my stuff when I make something when I'm 50 years old. That didn't even cross my fucking mind, man. Shit, I just wanted to tap that ass. That's what I wanted to do, you know? But yeah, but people, like, guys still want that. The question you need to ask is, why do you still want that? In spite of the risk, in spite of everybody saying you don't do it, it's a trap. It's a trap. You know? Despite that, you still want to do it. Guys still do that. Even Jim Sexton, even in the interviews with me, interviews with everybody, he's like, I still want to believe that it could happen, even though in 56% of the time it's not going to happen, right? But there's still that want. And I think that's really like I said, I don't have the answers for this. This is why we need the red pill. This is why we need to be able to have these conversations instead of being distracted by, the Groypers and the Goyim or whatever, the battle between the Goyim and it's like the Rebel Alliance versus the Imperial, the Stormtrooper. Like, I know it's a tragedy that it's come down to that. But anyways, Rollo, you are the frog and Myron is the scorpion. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I need to be more red pill about dudes. All debates are pretty good, okay? But they're not really about the truth. That's why. They're not about discovering what's true, because discovering what's true is boring. I mean, compared to you're a dick. No, you're a dick. Like, people want that conflict. They want that back and forth shit. People, when Adam Sosnick was going after Tate, and Tate says, well, I'm sorry for that. Like, wow. But they wanted him to fight back. They wanted him to say, fuck you, Jew boy, whatever. They wanted him to say something like that. They wanted that blood sport, and he just didn't. He failed to give that to them.
Trying to bait him in.
And it wasn't about like, how many kids were killed by, Palestinian kids were killed by, Israelis or something like that. It wasn't about like stats or anything. They just wanted him to fight back. They wanted him to punch back, and he didn't, right? Because they don't care about truth. They don't care about finding out what's true. They want what's right and wrong by their definition. They want debate to be about a sense of moralism. They want debate to be about, you're a bad person and I'm a good person. You're on that team and I am on this team. And then if my guy who's on my team doesn't tell you to go to hell, then he's a bad person from my perspective because he's representing my team and he's not doing what I need him to do, right? It's just, it's bread and circuses. Rollo, I'm religiously married, open on my end and closed on her ends. Okay. Muslim? Where can you do? Well, Mormon,
yeah. Polygamy?
It could be. I canceled my date with Destiny because of Tom Likas, Patrice O'Neill, Mystery, and you. Long live the red pill. Pearl is a liability. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Well, you know what? And maybe now's the time to say this is, yeah, but you know who else is a liability? Clavicular, Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, the rest of these guys, they're also liabilities too, because they're making the rest of the rising tide lifts all boats. But guess what? When these guys bring the narrative down, everybody else gets dragged down too. And that's, I think there needs to be an acknowledgement, a recognition of the fact that if Myron has greater pull than I do. Fresh has greater pull than I do. The Tates definitely have greater pull than I do. Clavicular's getting up there. I still think he's still the fat kid inside a good looking guy's body right now. He hasn't you can tell he's definitely socially, it's in the clinical sense. He's socially retarded. But it doesn't matter because he's team Groyper. And so is Sneeko, Like Sneeko's Muslim on demand. He cosplays his religion. He cosplays anything. He'll be red pill tomorrow if it makes his brand go that much higher. But the thing is if you are in this space, I think you need to understand that when you get dragged down, the rest of us get dragged down too. The tide goes down with you. And if I was in the same place, if I was the one who was like, if I get hit, especially when I get hit, like when somebody comes after me, especially all that shit that went down with Destiny and fucking Lauren Southern and everything, like there are very few people who had my back, very few. And because people just they didn't understand it. They didn't want to understand it. They didn't want to have it explained to them. And here's the thing is, if I take a hit to my personal brand, or if somebody for Christ's sake, wants to put me in jail for something or do whatever, I don't expect anyone to have I wouldn't expect them to. I know some people will, but I don't expect people to have my back. I think they would rather I go away. Hell, I've had not so erudite say exactly that. I wish he would go away. I want to bring his ass out. I want to bring him down. I did a whole show on that when she first started coming up, and she's part of Destiny's crew. These guys tried to take me out, man. They tried to find ways to erase my brand and erase my persona and everything else. They tried to do it. Glad to say they didn't. But nobody was like, oh, they're coming after him. We better stick up for Rollo. We better tell him. The only person who did, Andrew Wilson, just recently was talking, because he took an interest in it. And he was the one who knew that there was something going on between Destiny and Southern. Right? But I don't expect that right now. But the thing is I don't have the pull that a lot of these other guys do. And that's the first thing is if I'm critical of any of these guys, it's always, well, you're just professionally jealous. No, I'm not. I'm actually trying to do tough love, like iron sharpens iron. I'm trying to help by saying what I'm saying. Like if I'm telling you this and you have built a brand off of the Rational Male, or if you've used my material in any way, shape, even if my haters still use Alpha Widow, they still use, a lot of the stuff for my material for my book. My haters, my detractors still use my vernacular. So I know I've been influential over the years, but even in that case, it's like, I know that if I go down or if I get diminished in some way, I'm not expecting anybody to protect me, right? I'm on my own. But I will say this is if you guys bring the tide down, all the rest of us come down too. And people don't take this seriously. People won't say, well, that's the manosphere. They dismiss it. when I was on Myron and Fresh's show, and I was saying that I didn't say it wouldn't. I said, I hope it doesn't go mainstream, but kind of knowing that it was already headed that way anyways. It's exactly, when I would say the CNN thing, we don't hear it on CNN. We do now. We heard it the day of the election when Trump got in 2024. That was Dana Bash. And so now it's all coming full circle. And so I said this. I said on one of my tweets, I was saying that, I don't really care who played a song, who didn't play a song. I don't really give two flying. I don't have a dog in that fight. It's not my circus and it's not my monkeys. So they can do whatever the fuck they want to. But I will say this is that the DNC, like the people you say are progressive, leftist, feminist degenerates, trust me on this. They will use those clips from that where you're doing the Roman salute and everything else. When you're doing those things, I guarantee that they will use that in a commercial. It'll be B-roll for a commercial because they'll say, this is what these guys are about. This is what the red pill is about. This is the manosphere. These are the guys who were aligned with Trump. They'll put it side by side with like ICE, like shooting some girl in a SUV somewhere, or it'll be like ICE, Gestapo tactics. These are the brown shirts that are coming for you. And then there's Clavicular and the rest of these guys, doing the Roman salute and all that stuff. I guarantee you that will be the messaging and the narrative for this, which is we're in a midterm election year. Guarantee that'll be it. It might not last until it might be the 2028 election cycle, but it will be this midterm election cycle. And that's what they're going to use. I guarantee you they'll do that. Now, they can do whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to do that. But people said, oh, well, Rollo, these guys aren't voters and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's like, you're missing the fucking point, you autistic spurd. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're like, none of these guys are running for office, Rollo. Shut the fuck up. That's not what I'm fucking saying. Okay. What I'm saying is this, is that when there's clips of that everywhere and anyone can get it, they will use that, and they will use that to paint a picture of what they think the quote unquote manosphere is. And I can just keep saying the same thing. Because of your brand, because of your grifting, because of you're not about it anymore. It's the opposite of what Nuno was saying. You're not about the art. You're not about the message. You're not about the red pill anymore. You're doing it for money. You're doing it for glory. You're doing it for clicks. You're doing it for whatever, a signal boost for your brand. It ceases to become about the red pill. It ceases to become about helping guys out. It ceases to become about male self-improvement, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It ceases to be about like helping guys keep the noose off their necks and the gun out of their mouth. Seriously. Like if I was a guy and I didn't know anything about the red pill and I saw that, and then people say, well, this is what these guys do. Like, but I need help. I need somebody to help me be a better man. I need somebody to help me like out of my nihilistic, despondent state. Well, those guys ain't it. Where are they going to go? That's exactly what I keep telling these guys. Every time you misrepresent or misalign the red pill, either intentionally or not, that is the potential result. The guys who need to hear this, the guys who need to read The Rational Male, the guys who need to know male nature, female nature, the confluence of the two, they need the praxeology, they need the tools, they need the education, they need everything. Like, they need to understand this stuff, because in most cases when they read this, they cancel their date with deleting themselves. You're thwarting that. You're distracting from that. When you say the red pill is about, I don't know, the JQ or whatever else, they go, well, that's not going to, there's no help there. There's no hope there. There's no how, there's no hand down to pull you up. There's nothing there. Everybody's got their men's groups and everything else right now. The thing is like, who's doing that? Who's helping you up? Who's building you up and not brand building? That's the difference. And so when you have that level of notoriety, when shit like this goes down, or you actually invite it, you're bringing the rest of us down. You're bringing the rest of the message down. You're at the expense of not only everybody else who is actually about it, but also the people who need the fucking help. I'm not flaming anyone in particular. I'm not saying anybody's name, or like, you guys know who was there, right? And who wasn't there? There's other people that do the same shit too. But then I'll go and watch like Will Spencer saying like, oh, I'm leaving the manosphere. Why? Well, I don't want to be associated with that. Sounds good to me. I understand, but that's not really what it's about. I left because I got screwed by Anthony Johnson. Guess what? Anthony Johnson's not red pill. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. There's a handful. You want to know why I started doing, I want to sort of restart Rule Zero again, is because there needs to be a panel show. There needs to be a consortium. There needs to be a group of guys who actually care about getting to the truth, right? It's friends debating friends instead of enemies debating whatever the fuck, like trying to make the other guy look bad, right? I would much rather have a debate with Ryan Stone about something we disagree about and then coming to a consensus about it later on and say, you know what, sounds like this is the truth. That's a much more productive, much more constructive, much more substantive conversation. But nobody cares, man. They don't care about that. You're going to get more. Adam 22 had, Aiden Ross had like 500,000 people watch a 30-second fight. That's what you want. That blood and circuses. Yeah. Oh, don't watch football. But hey, we've got Jason Love and we got Adam 22 here. And look, there's Lena the Plug, who Jason's knocked it out with like at least twice now in a thong. And boy, isn't that great, right? It wasn't about the fight. The fight was like a non-issue, a non-player. It was the hype that led up to that. And you want to know if you want to know what degeneracy is, if you want to know what the real problem is, it's that distraction. It's that distraction, and it's not getting down to the basics. Let's see. Rollo, thanks for that $20. You know, have one of those. Rollo the Merciful. Rollo the Merciful. Yeah, Coliseum crowd cheers. Wait, yeah, there you go. I know, I need to get more of those. Yeah. Proximo. There was a dream that was the red pill, Proximo, and this is not it. Common Crown is about the music. Hell yeah, they are, Kyle. New tune out this week. Okay, everybody pay attention. Wait, we got let's see. There. You're
goddamn right.
Yes, Common Crown. Failsafe also has a new song out too. I gotta spread the love. The Failsafe has a new song out. You guys have a new song out. Let's see. Phil Labonte, All That Remains. They've got a new guitarist too. But yeah. Here, I'll just leave that up there for half a second. Thanks, Kyle. Yes, go get it. I missed Rule Zero yesterday. We'll be back on soon. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Anybody in RAR Squad, by the way, Kyle, you are invited to come. I'm gonna see if I can host it next week, so it'll be on my channel next week. Hopefully, people will tune in, and then we can get a real conversation started again, and we'll see how well we can make that work. Let's see. Anything else? So anyways, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think the red pill's over or anything like that. I'm not leaving the red pill. Nobody is. I can't leave the red pill. Will Spencer can't either. and you know, it's funny because like there was a time where I just sort of gave up on Will Spencer. I gave up on a lot of those guys. I gave up on George Bruno. George Bruno came back to me and apologized. I now talk to George Bruno. I had what's his name? Forget the dude's name. Several of those guys from the 21 convention. They've privately come. Hell, even Donovan Sharp came back to me and said, "Hey, man, you were right about Anthony." You know, it goes through this cycle of you know, being on board, thinking that that's going to help them sort of build their brands, and then they realize, well, this guy is full of shit, or this guy's psychotic, and you know, I'm sorry you had to learn the hard way, but that's just, you know, just how it goes. What else do I have here today? Well, speaking of all is lost.
100 years from now, this is what's going to happen. Watch this.
100 years from now, all of us will be dead. Someone else is going to be living inside of your house. The car that you drive is going to be scrap metal. Everything that you work so hard to build, gone, given away, forgotten. And your name will completely fade away within just a couple generations. Think about that. Do you know your great-grandparents' full name, their story, anything about them? This should make you realize that 99% of the worries that fill your mind every day are completely pointless. We live on a rock that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour in a universe with 400 million sextillion stars. That's a 4 with 23 zeros after it. And you're going to be dead soon. Me too. So if you can think about that for a moment every single day, that awareness that none of that actually even matters can actually free you up to truly live your life.
Man, that's so true. What a great concept. For more content like this, follow now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I hate shit like this. I hate those. Have you seen those? They're supposed to be motivational posters or something like that. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff, and it'll be like this picture of the Milky Way, and it's like you are here, and it's like a little pinprick of light saying, "Oh, so your issues and the things that are, that are so important to you, they're inconsequential in the global galactic, scheme of things." It's like, okay, I guess I should just fucking forget about it.
I guess I'm meaningless.
Yes, fuck that. And I'm going to tell you why I say fuck that, because what happens right here, right? What is it? Today's gladiator quote day. Like, what we do in this life echoes in eternity. It does, man. It's like, I hate that. So here's the thing is, you can say, well, you could take this, like the demotivational posters, and say, well, you're kind of inconsequential. You're just this one little speck of dust that's riding on this one insignificant planet that's in an insignificant solar system. That's like, what would be significant? Like, would it have to be like, Trantor from from the Foundation series? I mean, what is a significant planet? Please tell me. I'd like to know. Jupiter, Saturn. I wish I lived on Saturn, man. That's a much better planet than this. And then I could be somebody. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're as important as you make your fucking life important. I'm sick of that shit. I'm so fucking sick of this demotivational stuff. And it's supposed to be like, I know it's not exactly stoicism. I get it. But it's like, only you can really be in charge of your own emotions. Yeah, you're right. Okay, understood. But it's like, when people feel out of control in their lives, they try to find ways to rationalize why they're not in control of their lives, right? It's what I always talk about when it comes to hyper agency versus hypo agency, right? Hyper agency means you happen to the world. Hypo agency means the world happens to you. All that is fucking the world happening to you, man, or the galaxy happening to you, right? And so my take on that is not, hey, don't sweat it. You're insignificant, so it doesn't make any difference what you do. Stop worrying. So, like, don't worry about your performance. That's just like that's slave talk is what that is. Just get back on the plantation. Don't worry about things so much. Like, don't sweat the small stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that you will never amount to more than you fucking are. This is in one of my books, actually. I see if you can see where anybody can tell me where I ripped this quote off from, because I did rip this off. But it's not that we aim too high and fail. It's that we aim too low and succeed. That's our great fear. Our great fear is not that we aim too high and fail. It's that we aim too low and succeed. Because we'll get to that one thing, we succeed at it, and we never think of anything greater than that. Or we could have done better. You want to know why women always think about, is he the best I can do? It's because they always have to answer. They're always trying to answer that question. Did I aim too low and succeed? Or could I have gotten better had I aimed higher? And when I see stuff like this, all this is just to demotivate you. Like, so you'll find some sort of contentment in your insignificance. Fuck that. Fuck you and fuck that. Like, fuck average, I think, who was it? Was it, I forget the dude's name, was saying that, fuck average, was it, oh, I know it was, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. The worst thing I can be is the same as everybody else. Yeah. Or Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. Ronnie Coleman. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift no heavy ass weights. You need to lift some heavy ass weights, and it's not the galaxy that's conspiring against you. If anything, that would motivate me well, it's only important to me. It's only important right now. And guess what? I'm going to go and I'm going to build myself up and be the best I can possibly be. I don't care if I'm an insignificant speck of dust on some planet that's floating around in the galaxy of a billion septillion stars, wherever the fuck it was, right? Guess what? All that means to me is I'm going to put a dent in the fucking universe as best I can with what I have right now. That should be where you're going with that. I always wanted to put, memento mori. Thank you very much. You're going to die. Yeah. So you might as well fuck shit up while you're here, right? I love it, like when because some guys will get to this point, you know, like when you're playing at a high school. You're in football. Did you play football?
Yeah.
In high school, and you're like down so fucking far, like you're gonna lose the game. There's no logistical way you could possibly win. So what do? We're playing to kick ass. We're playing to hurt these motherfuckers, right? If that's the case, like it's time to hurt motherfuckers. Like you can't win, hurt motherfuckers. Like go out, like at least you go out on your fucking feet, man. It's like playing to kick ass. It's like smash mouth football, man. You know you're gonna lose. It's time to just like play to fuck shit up. Let's see. Anybody? Oh wait, do I have? Hold on a second. I think I got super chats to jump to. I got one here. I noticed betas hate being confronted or talking man to man and smoothing things out like you and Sexton did. Why is that? Because they don't know how to do that anymore. I think one of the whenever I listen to which I'm about to play, Logan Ury and Scott Galloway and some of these other guys talking about, oh, well, you know, dangerous young men are like the lonely guys and everything. They don't go out and they don't ask women out, and women would love it if when they would just ask them out, which, yeah, kind of. Yeah, if you're hot. But the thing is it's not about interacting with other women. It's these guys can't interact with men. And a lot of like Mike and I have discussed this about our own groups. It's like the social skills that make you adept with women, having a conversation with women, being interesting to women, whatever it is. I've heard even Chris Williamson and some of these other guys saying like, you know, these guys are just not interesting. They're not living a life that would make them interesting. They don't have any stories, or they don't know how to speak. They don't have, like, yeah, they don't know how to do that with women. They don't know how to do that with men either. Guys don't know how to do that because they think they've been taught from a very early age that they're poisoned by their testosterone. That they're gender loathing is what they are. They're like what I said before. Camille Paglia. This is not Rollo Tomassi. This is Camille Paglia said that we raise our boys as if they are defective girls. We educate our boys as if they're defective girls. Those boys who become defective girls, they become men who are defective women who don't know how to interrelate with other guys. So that's why that's why for me, when I go and I am critical of friends of mine, it's not because, ooh, Rollo, shots fired. No, it's not shots fired. It's me saying, hey, guys, here's something that I think you should probably think about. And I'm saying it in a public, I could tell them privately, or I can tell them like publicly. In a public forum, in this case, like look at what's happening. Can you see what's happening? Like for instance, like I was talking to Myron. Myron wanted to do a panel show, you know, and talk about and get back to red pill topics. I'm like, fuck yeah. Yes, I was fucking enthused by that. I was like, yeah, I'm in the hospital. I'm recovering for like 8 fucking days in the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, we got to do this. This would be fucking awesome once I get free and clear of this shit, right? And then Miami happens. And then, you know, then we're going to go to, you know, some club somewhere. And by the way, I don't even think the club is the worst of it. I think really the stuff that happened like at the hotel suite or wherever the fuck they were before they jumped in the limo and they went to the club. Like, I'm impressed that they even got Myron out of the fucking apartment. Like, how did you do that? I can't get him out of the apartment. Hell, we've had Myron here in Vegas. I can't get him to, like, Fresh will go out to Aria. He'll go out to Omnia. He'll go, they stay at the Aria. They'll go to, Fresh will go to Zook. He'll go to Hakkasan. He'll go to Omnia. Fresh will go hiking with fucking Aaron Clary for fuck's sake, right? Myron won't do that. Myron does not he's very private. He's very, you know, to himself. And getting him out, unless it's a podcast, unless it's him going and doing something that's going to sort of brand build, or he wants to have, I've had some in this room, as a matter of fact, some very good one-on-one podcasts with Myron, but Myron doesn't like to go out and do shit. He'll be the first one to tell you too. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't have a Bugatti. He doesn't have, like, I mean, Fresh will buy like McLarens and fucking like, you know, Rolls Royce Phantoms and shit like that. You know, Myron still has a very sensible, I want to say it's like a Dodge Neon or something like that, or like a Ford Fiesta. And because he doesn't care about, you know, having a fancy car or something like that. He's not worried about fashion. He's not buying Rolex, although maybe he does have a Rolex now. But he's not like Fresh is really sort of the face of the brand, whereas Myron's just sort of like the engine of the brand, right? And not to take anything away from him, but like when he's hanging out with Nick, clavicular Sneeko of all people, and then Justin and the Tates and everything else, I'm like, how did you get him out? How did you even do that? Like, I was very impressed that he got out there and he did something. So, thank you. When it's all said and done, would you say the degradation of relationships is because women's mass betrayal of average men? Good fucking question, man. Very good. So is it the degradation? So is it because of women's betrayal? I love that word. Betrayal. There's no small betrayals of average men. So are they betraying average men? Like, they're only betraying average men if there's this presumption that they should have some social contract with average guys. We say this all the time. Average, and this is true. Average women do not want to get with average men. Is that a betrayal? It would only be a betrayal if there was some sort of social contract that said average women need, by law, are obligated to get with average men. It's not a betrayal. But it is a problem. Don't get me wrong. I like the terminology. Words mean things, especially in this class. But do I think that that's what is degrading relationships? And I've said this before when I was talking about sociosexual hierarchies. I go into great detail about sociosexual hierarchies from the definition that Vox Day talks about sociosexual hierarchies. If you don't know who Vox Day is, and you don't even know what sociosexual hierarchies are, you need an education in the red pill, my friend. You have not been in this space long enough, okay? I'm not necessarily a big proponent of sociosexual hierarchies. I do think that they're a useful tool in the same way that I think the female delusion calculator is a useful tool, right? So it categorizes guys in different hierarchies. You guys, everybody's heard of, it's funny, everybody's heard of Sigma males, but they have no idea where it came from. They have no idea that it's supposed to be a class set apart from the sociosexual hierarchies as put forth by Vox Day. VOXDAY. If you go and you look up sociosexual hierarchies, Vox Day, and you search for that on YouTube, you'll get a series of videos where he goes into very great detail. If you don't want to do that, read my book, read the Rational Male Reignite, because there's a whole dedicated chapter to that, because it needs to be explained for people, especially when people want to call themselves Sigma male. If you're calling yourself a Sigma male, you're not a Sigma male. Sigma males wouldn't even acknowledge the fact, assuming they exist, they wouldn't even acknowledge sociosexual hierarchies, right? But that said, the thing is the delta male in that sociosexual hierarchy is exactly what you're talking about. It's the average guy. So there's alpha males, and those guys are sort of the leaders of men. Those are guys that are naturally sort of like, men are magnetically drawn to women want to fuck. Like, he's the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck, right? He's Maverick from Top Gun, right? He is Tom Cruise in Maverick in Top Gun. That is the alpha male archetype, right? And then what's his best friend? Is that Goose? Who's his best friend? Yeah. Goose is the beta male, and not beta male in the terms that I talk about beta male. He's the beta male who's like the sidekick. He sort of gets the leftovers of the alpha male, right? He's not an asshole. He's actually a very well-meaning guy. He would like to be the alpha male. He's usually the best friend of the alpha male, but the beta male or the bravo male, whatever you want to call him, he's not quite a delta, but he has his own, he's his own person. He's his own individual. Most guys aren't even beta males. Few men are alphas. Fewish men are betas, but the most men are deltas. And deltas are what we would classically think of as beta males, but these are the guys that get shit done. They are the guys who go in and put an honest day's work and get an honest day's pay. These are they punch in and they punch out. These are the guys who keep the lights on. These are the guys who fill the potholes. These are the guys who work in raw sewage. They're the guys who work on the oil rigs. All those dudes that you see in Landman, those are the delta males. Those are the guys who are there, who are getting it done every fucking day, right? And without them, society collapses. Without delta males, you don't have construction workers, you don't have electricians, you don't have people doing your landscaping, you don't have people working in industry. All of the things that are like, you see these graphs of like the industries and the careers that women prefer, and they're usually like, you know, HR, and they're involved with people, and for men, they're involved with things and doing stuff, right? If you lose the delta males, if you lose the guys who are like the workers, the guys who are happy, they just want to be left alone, right? They want to be able to, they shower when they come home from work and not before they go to work, right? If you have those guys who are convinced that society will give them a wife and give them a working paycheck, maybe they're a welder, maybe they're an electrician, maybe they're whatever, but the thought is that if they just do what they're supposed to do and they, you know, get shit done, that and they're average, and an average woman will want to get with them and have average babies with them, and they're going to create more little delta males, and the cycle continues. And that shit might have worked in a post-war, you leave it to Beaver, 1950s, 1960s, hell, right through the 80s, even through the 90s. All the delta males were the backbone of America, right? The heartbeat of America, right? They're salt of the earth people, right? The problem is now we have convinced women that, you know, average women do not want to get with average men. And when that happens, you break the social contract. And the social contract is that, you know, the average women are going to want to get with an average guy. Doesn't matter. He doesn't have to look like Clavicular. He just has to be, you know, good looking enough. He just has to be funny enough. He just has to have a personality enough. But he goes to work, does 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 40 hours a week, comes home, has a 2 weeks vacation. You know, then he gets a retirement or whatever, 401k or a pension, whatever the fuck it is. And then he goes and he retires in the villages in Florida, and then he dies in a assisted living place. You know, that's the life plan, right? And that's the delta male. You lose the delta male, you lose society. That's what really, you want to know why the degradation of relationships is dangerous? It's not mass betrayal, but it's like, if you want to know what the degradation of relationships is, it's because average women don't want to get with average men, or it's worse than that, I should say. Average women believe they are entitled to above average, exceptional, elite men. Even the 6 thinks she deserves an 8 or a 10. Even the 5 thinks she can still get the 7. She still thinks she can bat above her average at the very least. And if she can't, then she's dissatisfied with that. Then you've got the woman who, you know, who breaks up with the boyfriend after that's the classic divorce scenario. Breaks up with the guy because he's boring. He's not happy. He's not, you know, he's not exciting. Not as exciting as the guys that she like, as Peter Steele was. Like, God, I would hate to be that dude, man. The guy who kind of looked like Peter Steele, and it's like, yeah, he kind. It's like those are the kind of women who will, like that woman, she'll name her firstborn son Peter. Not you, not like Joe or Jim or whoever. She'll name her firstborn son Peter. Why? Well, I just like the name. Get the fuck out of here, you know. And then her girlfriends, she'll be drunk one night, and her girlfriends or her sister will go, "Hey, wasn't Peter the boyfriend you had in college? Or isn't that the guy from Typo Negative you banged back in the day?" Shh. Keep it down. Let's see. All right, $30. Holy shit. Yeah, you get one of those. Just like the Rel the Cyclope in Krull. You, my friend, are a gentleman and a scholar for quoting Krull on this show. And if you know anything about the movie Krull, and you know my sheer love for the greatness that is Krull, I should probably get here. I'll give you another one of those even. Sit in a field and accept your fate, or haul ass 1,000 leagues on a fire mare. Again, Krull. Kick ass, get your friends into the Black Fortress. Yeah, before he gets crushed. But he did it, man. That was his gig, man. God, I'm going to give you spoilers. If you don't know the greatness of the movie Krull, if you don't know the absolute, like the pinnacle of fantasy sci-fi deliciousness that is early 80s sci-fi, it's fantasy, but there's sci-fi elements to it as well. Krull is the benchmark for which everyone else who came after. You know, it's funny. People were showing like, what was it, the Witcher, and how like in the latest Witcher, how like whoever's playing the Witcher now, whoever the old guy who's the older Witcher, basically goes and kills the entire. I mean, just like brutally like kills off the cast of the cast of the characters in there. I'm like, wow, that's saying something. And so they started showing off these sort of fantasy, like it's like Lord of the Rings, saying like the Fellowship of the Ring kind of thing, but it's for like modern fantasy, and how it's like it's all chicks, it's all chicks, it's all tough girl. It's the black girl who's the rogue, and it's the white girl who's the tough elf mage, and it's it's Red Sonja is the barbarian or something like that. And like, if you take that and then you put that against the team that was the guys in Krull, it's all male, right? It's nothing but guys, right? And they got the Cyclope and they got all the rest of them. It's like, it's night and fucking day, man. I mean, the old school 80s, maybe early 90s sci-fi stuff completely outclasses anything that's going on today. The only thing that has me really going right now is watching Fallout. Fallout's so good. Fallout is very, very good. I know people go, it's not like the game. I don't fucking care. It is a great fucking movie thus far.
Great adaptation.
Good adaptation. I like the characters. The actors they got for it are really good. They know their shit. Who's the chick who's in that? Who's the forget her name. That girl is fucking a hammer too. She's really that chick is Ella Purnell, man. She's got she's got that 1,000 cock stare. Yeah, she's something, man. Yeah, it's a good series. I'm sad that Landman is over.
Yeah.
But I was right. I knew they were going to come back to that butch ginger girl once more. And I wonder, it's funny because everybody was all, oh man, that's great. That's what we need in Hollywood now. We need to take these wokesy liberal fuckwits to task. And then what happens? Fucking what's her name goes out and Ainsley goes and defends her against like these misogynistic Andrew Tate, high school kids, and dresses them down. You guys are fucking basically, she, without saying they're incels, she said they're incels, right? And while defending the redhead chick, right? I knew that story arc wasn't over. And I will guarantee you, it's in the third season. It won't be either. They'll revisit that for sure. I don't know what this jihadi is doing here, but somebody tell me what that is. I have no idea. I don't speak Arabic. Dude, this is America. This is America. What is this? Like, for all I know, that could say like death to the Yankee infidels or some shit like that. Oh, anyways. Type it out again in American. So anyways, I wanted to, where's the other ones I've got here? Oh God. God, Erica Kirk. What the fuck happened there? Remember when they tell you, who was it who was saying like, the best way to talk to a girl or to approach a girl is to say, may I meet you? Remember that shit?
Yeah.
How does that gel against
Yeah.
this?
I have
You
a
look
boyfriend.
pretty cute.
I have a boyfriend. I'm sorry.
No.
I have a boyfriend. See, I have
See?
a boyfriend. No, I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. Thank you, but
Yeah,
I have
wait.
a boyfriend.
No,
I
it's
have a
okay.
boyfriend. I have a boyfriend.
For real?
No, because I have a boyfriend. No, I have a boyfriend. I actually do have a boyfriend.
I
I
know.
have a boyfriend.
You do?
I'm sorry. I have a boyfriend.
No.
I'm married. I'm engaged.
You look like the girl.
I have a boyfriend. Because I'm married.
Yeah.
I have a boyfriend.
Really?
I appreciate that, yeah.
You're married with a ring.
I have a boyfriend.
I put a ring on a finger. I put a ring.
I have a boyfriend. I'm sorry. I have a boyfriend. No, I'm married. I have a boyfriend. I have a man. I'm totally married though.
You're married?
I have a man. So I have a boyfriend.
Huh?
I don't want to get a copyright strike for the music. Jesus Christ.
It's just a numbers game,
It's just a numbers game, man. Cold approach, it works, right? Yeah. So like whenever I'm listening to like Scott Galloway and Logan Ury, they just need to get out there and go, get out there and you put yourself out there for real rejections. I have those new Meta glasses.
Oh, okay.
And I got those. I got them for Christmas actually. I have not put them to use yet, but I probably will once I'm sort of more mobile, I guess. But I thought it was interesting because, like, I think that guy was probably using something like that when he was
Meta glass.
Yeah, the meta glasses. But yeah, it's just the problem I have, let's just say, with the take of, say, someone like Brett Cooper or whatever, when it comes to like the red pill and it comes to all this stuff, they'll still acknowledge red pill points. They'll still acknowledge all that stuff, but they won't say that, oh, that's part of the red pill, because they don't understand. I would say they won't even acknowledge it because they don't understand it. Like, I always love it. I love it when people say, like, well, these guys need to go out and ask girls out live in real time. And then I think that if they did, women always say they want to be approached and they all want to, and I have a boyfriend, right? Now this could be very much implicitly biased, right? If Kyle went out and let's go down to Fremont and let's just go, and we'll bring the meta glasses and we'll go, hey, want to go get a drink? Let's go down and see what our success rate is. This is Las Vegas. One of those chicks has to say yes. Yeah, one of them is probably a prostitute, so they're going to say yes. Okay, so, but the concept, the premise of it is not very well thought through, because it doesn't generate clicks. If I can say, oh, I have a very simple answer to your problem, it's just go out and ask a girl out. Again, you take away me, you take away Myron, you take away Ryan Stone, you take away the man, you take away Rich Cooper, you take away everybody who's a contributing part of this manosphere and the red pill and everything. You just erase us from history. Men are still going to be red pill because it's in their face, live on TikTok, on Instagram Reels. It's live in their face 24/7. So now we're hearing all this. By the way, there's a new study that just came out. I just passed it off to Mike not too long ago. And it's numbers are bleak for male sexlessness, actually Gen Z sexlessness in general, but mostly driven by young men. And I can remember not too long ago locking horns with guys like Alex from Date Psych and really and Mac and Murphy, but not so much probably now, but back then, everybody, Will Costello and the rest of these idiots who want to say, well, the general survey study doesn't show that, 33% of men are sexless because those numbers are going up, and that's old data and blah, blah, blah. It's really from 2000 all the way up to like 2019 or 2020, right? And then they want to say that the numbers are trending up. Well, guess what? New numbers show it's going down and still going down, right? And nobody wants to talk about that anymore. Nobody wants to talk about sexist numbers, and nobody wants to talk about the reasons why, because if they did, they would have to include women in that equation. Thank you very much for your 200 Kenyan dollars. Jambo Mze from Kenya. Thank you. Kenya. Thank you for your work. You're welcome. I'll try to do a Nairobi accent. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Another Kenya. We just had Kenya chime in here. Thank you very much. The red pill is international, guys. Just saying. I still have people in Kenya asking me, when are you going to come out? I would love to come out as long as you can, as long as I can carry an automatic weapon with me or something like that. You know what I want? I want to go to Kenya so that I can bring home a puppy hyena. I want a hyena. I want a hyena puppy is what I need, because I know that the warlords have like the hyena for pets out there. That'd be fucking badass. If Brett Cooper ever has a baby, I wonder if her brain will get rewired and she loses all her red pill talking points. Maybe. If she has, does anybody know if she's having a daughter or a son? Because I would say that if she's having a son, that might change things. That might be a game changer for her. It often is. I only speak Swahili. Speaking of which, let's do this.
I want to hook up with a guy who's hot. I just want a guy who's good looking and fun. I'm looking for a man who's in shape, has a good job, and wants kids. I'm looking for a man who communicates, is family oriented, and is looking to have kids within the next 2 to 3 years. Here are my non-negotiables. He has to have a business degree, be spiritually grounded, nice to his family, never wears necklaces, went to summer camp, and has brown hair. I am never doing blonde again. I think I'm gonna start dating women.
Thought that one was cute. That's true. It's funny. Is like the reason that shit is funny is because the shit's true. I had somebody who's hitting me up about the hoe phase. Like, women don't have hoe phases. That's just those red pill guys trying to, sour you on going out with girls and stuff like that. I didn't make up the term hoe phase. Those bitches made up the term. Like, girls on TikTok made up the term hoe phase, not the red pill. I was nice. I called it the party years. And then, so of course, I wrote a book about this. It's actually book 2. It's my book called The Rational Male, Preventative Medicine. And I wrote that so that guys would stop asking me this question. Rollo, I wish I would have known this shit before. I wish I would have known this sooner. With some of your teachings, it clicks instantly, but with other bits, sometimes it clicks months, even a year, even 2 years later. Is that maturity issue or a maturity issue or experience issue? South African here. Okay. A little of both, I think. I think this, so here, since we're on the topic of the rational male preventative medicine, I actually talked about this. A lot of the stuff, when people read my work, when they read the rational male, especially now, Reignite's doing very, very well. Thank you. And please tell your friends about it. I meant that to be a useful, I meant that to be a utility book, right? So guys can sort of reconstruct their lives, rebuild, reignite their lives, right? But in I think the sleeper hit of my series, 6 books, is actually the second one, because I think people get the most out of it. It's a short read. It's only 247 pages. It's my thinnest book. But it was meant to give guys the sort of a roadmap as to what they can likely expect from women at different phases of their maturity, right? And the thing is that when guys they read my first book and they have that aha moment, they go, oh, that's why she does this. Oh, this is why she's pining for her ex. This is why she named our firstborn son Peter. She's an alpha widow, right? Oh, it all makes sense right now. Or I've had guys in the past who say, that they had made an appointment. They made a date that they were going to off themselves, right? And then they had that moment. They had that aha moment. Oh, it's really not me. It was her. It was something it was because of these series of events that Rollo spelled out for me in the first one, and then second book spelled these things out for me. And now I understand that. Now I have accurate information. Maybe if I tried staying alive and trying to sort of reinvent myself or rejigger my life using this accurate information, maybe I can actually get something. And sure enough, lo and behold, that it actually starts working for them, right? And that aha moment is usually as a result of something that happened to you in the past. It's something that you can relate to because you had a similar situation to what I detailed in the past. And then that's when you get those aha moments. And then there's the other things like you'll read and you won't really get it until you experience it. So if it's especially with the 99 rules of Tomasi, which I could go over if you'd like. But one of those is guys who, I know what it was. Guys who are dating and they limit themselves from asking out really super beautiful women, really hot chicks, because they believe in the concept of leagues, right? Let me explain something to you about leagues. Leagues don't exist. Get the idea of leagues out of your head. You will be much better off and you will take much more chances and you will be more experimental if you can, get over the fear of rejection. You have to certainly get over your approach anxiety. But as part of that, you have to get over, it's one thing to get over your approach anxiety with a 6. It's another thing to get it over with a chick's a 9, right? As I said, our great fear is not that we aim too high and miss. It's that we aim too low. We get the 6 and we succeed. And you could have got an 8, right? Because you thought that chick, that 8, that 9 was out of your league. And if you'd have just applied yourself a little bit differently, if you'd been more congruent, if you had better social, if you were better game, if you better game, money, muscles, and game, right? If you've been better looking, been in better shape. It's funny to me how guys who, and I hate to even invoke the name of clavicular, but how guys will go from being the fat kid to being a good looking guy, and then having people treat them differently as a result of that. Clavicular would never be in that Miami crew had he still been the fat kid. If he had still been the looks maxing loser who wasn't willing to go to these crazy extremes of like, I don't know, shooting tren and meth and sorry, he gave up coke so he could go back to meth. I think this was the latest one. But had he not done that, had he not taken that to its most absurd extreme, he wouldn't be hanging out with the big boys. He wouldn't have drawn the attention of any of these guys had that not been the case. So as far as, the looks is concerned, like your people are going to treat you differently when you're the fat version of Clav versus the good looking, the Peter Steele version of Clav, right? But people are going to treat you differently, and you're going to respond differently as a result of that. So it's really more about what are you willing to do for change? What's going to make sense to you in the future is not like if you're the fat kid and you're reading my book and you're saying, you already believe in leagues. You haven't gotten to the point where you're good looking enough to go, you know what? It's really not about leagues. You haven't got to that point. So you can't appreciate what I was saying in Iron Rule number 7, number 8. Number 7. No, it would be number 8. There is no leagues, right? And you can only really understand that once you get out of the sort of the mind trap of sexual market value leagues for guys in particular. Take a chance, go out there and like, what do you got to lose? You're going to go home and jerk off anyways. You might as well go for the 8 rather than a 6, right? Does it hurt more because you got rejected by? I would think it would be hurting more if you got rejected by the 6 than the 8, right? Like I was like, well, she's an 8, so you would think so, but no, because you got rejected by a 6, then it hurts that much more because you can't even get the 6, right? But that only clicks when you get to a certain stage, or when you progress yourself and you improve yourself to a different level. You were here and you've got to operate up here. Once you operate here, then you can understand what I was talking about in certain articles of my books. Another thing, hell, I can even apply this to my book, Religion, because until, like, most guys will say, oh, is that why there's no men in my congregation anymore? Aha. Or maybe those guys were sort of like simps and they were kind of like, slaves to their wives or whatever. And then they read something in that book and they go, now they can appreciate it because now they're married and now they're going through that again. So it just kind of depends. It just depends on what the stage is and what progression you are and what you're going to appreciate in the first place. So yeah, that's not uncommon, by the way. I've had lots of people tell me that before. It's like, well, now that I've had kids, I understand what you're saying in Positive Masculinity. Well, duh, because that's half of the book is about parenting. That's another thing that gets me is like people want to say, well, you red pill guys never talk about parenting or forming good relationships and families and stuff like that. You never talk about how important it is to homeschool your kids and what the education system looks like. And all I got to do is hold up the fucking my third book, Positive Masculinity, published in 2017. Here it is. Talked about it. Next stupid argument, please. I think 99% of the time, if people were just like, people always go, well, I never hear those red pill guys talk about X. Guys, if that's you, before you hit public, post on the Twitter, like post to tweet, before you do that, open another tab and go to therationalmale.com, go to the search engine and type in what you think we haven't talked about before. And I guarantee you, we've talked about it before. There's been a discussion about it. There's been a podcast about it. There's been probably several essays about it. So before you say, I never hear these guys talk about this, please, for the love of Christ, go to my website and search it there before anybody else. Let's see. What's your opinion on black pill? Okay. How much do you think looks or genetics play in the role of appearing alpha? It's funny how looks and black pill are like simpatico, Well, black pill is way more than just looks. So, but I know that a lot of people want to conflate those two. If I go and I say, I've done this before. I'll be like, and when people think I'm doing gear or something like that, they'll be like, oh, it looks like Rollo finally took the black pill. Looks like he finally realized what we've been saying for a long time, that it's all about looks. And that's why he's doing trend, right? That's not the black pill. The black pill is a lot more than just looks maxing. But if I say Guys, Clav has a point, right? Looks gets your foot in the fucking door. Looks are important. I've done several, read my fucking books once again and say, oh, does Rollo talk about looks? Yes, lots and lots. In fact, next to the topic of whether or not women and men can be friends, and I have had my disagreements with Mike, the other thing that I kind of push back on with Mike is the importance of looks. Like Mike seems to think that it's all about status. Like women fuck you because of your status. Yeah, well, guess what? Sometimes being really, really ridiculously good looking, that's status. Being the best looking dude in the club, that's status. So there's a status that is applied or is associated with you being really good looking, right? So if I say that, and I agree with Clav to a degree, I'm black pill. Rollo was turning black pill. Finally. Gosh, it took him a long time. Shut the fuck up. Black pill's way more than that. It's loserdom. It's I've given up. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. I guess that's MGTOW too, right? Because MGTOW and black pill are kind of in some ways the same. I know MGTOW guys, like diehard MGTOW guys, are going to say, no, it's not. We just don't want to play the game anymore. Why do you not want to play the game anymore? Because it's rigged. Well, that's black pill. Thanks for playing. The black pill, like MGTOW, like MRAs, men's rights activists, like pickup artists as well, and the white pill, the Jesus pill, the God pill, the trad pill, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the gold pill, which of course is like, oh, make a lot of money, and then women will want, this is the best way to go about it. All of those quote unquote pills, those like those organizations, those movements, PUAs, MRAs, MGTOWs, black pill doomers, white pill enthusiasts, and there's going to be more coming soon, looks maxers, right? All of those are practices. Every last one of those things I just talked about is a practice. The red pill is not a practice. The red pill is the source material from which those practices grab and pull and say, we agree with this, we agree with this, we like this, we like this. Rollo talked about the alpha widow dynamic, women, transactional sex versus validational sex, the war brides dynamic, all pick and pull, cram it into your ideological box, and that becomes the black pill. Forget about it. I'm doomed. I'm never going to be able, like, oh man, don't play the game because the game's rigged. Well, guess what? You can't not play the game. You can't leave the manosphere. You can't leave the red pill. You don't get to walk away from it. You don't get to stick your head in the sand. You can't do that. It's like, I love it when people like think that they can just sort of unplug themselves from the matrix and then be like Cypher and get like plug themselves back in. The problem is at some point, even if you completely go into this really psychotic state of denial and say, you know what? I'm leaving the manosphere. I don't believe that stuff anymore. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to believe in God. I'm going to believe in Allah. I'm going to believe in Buddha, whatever. I'm going to like completely reject this red pill nonsense, yada, yada, yada. You will still live a life and you will still see creeping in from your peripheral awareness truths that we've talked about in the red pill that you've been aware of for a long time. And now you make the association when the red pill talks about this. Oh, I can't think about that. I gotta read. I gotta pray more. I gotta think about this more. I'm in Stoic. I'm gonna get into Stoicism more. And you'll see something happen over here, or you'll see somebody say something here, or you'll see like a celebrity couple break up. Or you'll see your best friend will get into a really nasty divorce, and you'll know what the red pill has had to say about that. That's what I'm saying. You don't get, once you put the red pill lens on, you don't get to take it off. It's always going to be on no matter what state of denial you're in. So I think it's way more healthy to understand and to accept the fact that the red pill is a good predictive framework, if nothing else. I'm not saying that the red pill has everything right. The praxeology of the red pill is written in pencil. It is not written in pen. People want it to be because they want it to be a belief set. You guys say this. No, we don't. And if some new data comes in or some new phenomenon is discovered that cancels this one out and it works better with this new idea or this new hypothesis or this new predictive framework, guess what? We erase the pencil and we write in the next thing. They think that that's like, going back on, you guys are consistent. You guys are, you're hypocrites. Why? Because we are committed to the scientific scientific method. Because that's really all it really is. It's a loose science. Yes. Do we get everything right? No, but we get enough right that you can make predictive frameworks out of what we are talking about. Like I said, it's like the Chilton manual for intersexual dynamics. It's like it shows you how the car goes together, and here's this part, and it's down to every part number to build the VW bug that is the red pill, right? Some parts of that are missing. This part might be missing, but you can still see that it's a wheel. But how do the wheels go on? How do they work? Or it's the carburetor, and how does this? There's there's a spring here, but we didn't know there was a spring here, right? There's little bits and pieces that are missing, but there's enough there that you can probably figure out how to build the car, right? That is having a good relationship. That is understanding women's nature, understanding men's nature too. It's not one-sided. It's not about hating women. It's not about hating men. It's about understanding our natures and how things fucking work and how the machine and the TV goes back together, right? That's what it's about. The problem with that is that practices like the black pill, practices like MGTOW, practices like pickup artists, for example, pickup artists use the red pill quite a bit, probably more than anybody else. I would say if there's one group that accepts the red pill more than any other practice, it's probably PUAs, right? Because they have a goal in mind. They have a definitive goal. How do we get our dicks wet? How do I get laid, right? Very simple. So yeah, well, I'll take most of it, right? When you get into relationships, then things change a little bit. But the red pill's still there, and that part of the manual, the marriage part of the manual is still there. But those are practices. The black pill is a practice. MGTOW is a practice. MRAs are a practice. And what they're doing is they're saying, now that we have this information, Rollo's educated us. He's given us the rational male. The red pill has educated us and made us aware, red pill aware of women's nature. This is how we think we ought to go about living our lives. This is the best practices. For black pill doomers, it's give up. It's I'll never be good looking enough. Or it's all about looks maxing, right? It's all about looks. That's incomplete as far as I'm concerned. But, do you. I think a lot of people really would do better if they took the Bruce Lee approach, right? Yeah. You take a little bit of here, take a little bit of there, you take this martial art, you take that Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Kali, karate, Kung Fu, whatever. Take those moves that work best for you and then build your own martial art out of it. It seems like deductive reasoning to me. But again, those are movements. Those, in fact, are philosophies. Those, in fact, are practices. Those are, in some cases, belief sets, right? I've had these guys want to say that like the black or the red pill, which they really think of as the black pill, but they think that the red pill is the black pill. But they'll say, well, the red pill is it's demonic. It doesn't align with my Christian beliefs. It doesn't align with this and that and everything. And so now we can explain it by this literal belief in demons, in ghosts, in goblins, and literally. So, I mean, in some cases, you'll say, do you really think that there are actual, real demons? Or is it just people who are acting in such a way that is so counter to your convictions of what's right and what's wrong that you're just sort of like you're giving them a magic name? Do you think that is? No, they actually think that there is a fucking demon with like the kind that you see in Diablo Immortal, right? Which I play. They actually think that you're the Lord of the Pit, right? No, they're not. It's just magical thinking, but that's how people can process. They have to process stuff that they can't really wrap their heads around. Like that one video I played last week of that guy who was like, well, guy was like Casey Zander. He was giving Casey Zander shit, man. He's like, well, Casey Zander makes it so complex and everything. And the Lord said in the Bible that if it's complex, it's of the devil. What? No, he's just trying to explain sometimes complex dynamics. You don't have to explain it away with magical thinking. Just say, hey, I don't get it. That's fine. Okay, well, let me see if I can help you, like make it more basic and help you through. I'll be happy to. No, it's demonic. What? That's basically what it boils down to. But again, it's a practice. It's easier to turn the red pill into a philosophy or a belief set or a movement. Everybody will do this and they'll do it without thinking. Like I'll listen to Brett Cooper will say this all the time, but like it's usually like the more religious kind of like moralistic pundits, but sometimes you'll hear it from like Steve Stewart Williams or something like that, or not. Chris Williamson. they'll say, well, what do you think about the red pill movement? What does the red pill ideology say? And that they don't make the connection. They don't understand that it's not an ideology. They just want it to be an ideology because they think it's about right and wrong. They think it's about good and evil. You're a bad person. You're outside of my tribe. This is my tribe. My tribe is right. Your tribe is wrong. You're a demon. I'm an angel, right? And so you've got this. You're fighting from a deficit right there, just because it's like getting people to understand, to work past that, to say that no, truth exists outside of your ideas of what is good and what's evil, what's right and what's wrong, what's moral, what's not, what's a good person, what's a bad person. Truth exists outside of that. That's why I keep coming back to, like I said before, you can't tell people facts, you can't tell people data, you can't tell people stats without telling them how to feel about it. That part where it's how to feel about it is usually where they put their own belief set in. And if the truth is based on just factualism, right, is just based on empiricism, factual reality, and they can't refute that with anything else, the only way they can combat that is they can say that's a religion. What you're telling me, it's factually true, but only a person who believes in this would tell that to me in the first place. And so therefore, now it's not, I can't fight the red pill on objective, empirical, facts-based stuff. And we see this all the time with women. Like when we're talking about feminism, or we're talking about female nature or whatever, why can't women take accountability? They can't take accountability because the facts don't align with their that emotionalism of that feeling, right? And when your life is based and your identity is based on feels before reals, there has to be some way to fight against those facts. Usually it's get the fuck out of here, Frank Castle time, get out, right? Because they get belligerent, because they don't have a counter argument to anything. They can't, that's why debate is bullshit right now. It's not about factualism. It's not about objective reality. It's not about getting to what is true and what is not. It's about, are you good or are you bad? Because that's what gets eyes on the screen. Not this is true and this is false. That's boring. It's boring as fuck. You want to know why I'm not doing this? Because I'm boring as fuck, because I base everything on what I think is true. And if I'm full of shit, please tell me. I want to have that conversation. If you think that what I have said, if I've said something, here's some observations I've had here that you could say they're anecdotes. I can show you stats. I can show you studies. I can show you all the stuff that's in my bookmarks and my Twitter. I hang on to those things. If you think that my interpretation of that data is incorrect, I want to know, please, so I can adjust that, so I can erase that part of the red pill and write in something else, because maybe you have a take on it that I have a blind spot. I didn't see that, right? Please tell me. But if you're going to say you're an asshole for telling me this, I'm going to agree. Yes, I am an asshole for telling you this, because my job is to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. That's what my job is. My job is to punch both ways, to punch on both sides, because I want to get at the truth, because I think that that's going to leave a better mark in the universe that you think is so fucking insignificant than anything else. If you can use that data to save your life or better your life, great. But again, I want to see people put, the red pill into practice. Hell, Reignite is that. I don't want people to put a noose around there. I don't want men who get divorced and it's 9 times more likely for them to delete themselves. I want to make sure that you don't put the noose on your neck or put the gun in your mouth because you think that there's no hope and everything's nihilistic and everything's despondent, everything's black pill. Fuck that. Existence is infinitely preferable to non-existence, okay? That I'm pretty sure of. You want a moral statement? There you go. Existence is infinitely more preferable to non-existence. How are you going to make yourself better? Right? I got zeroed out. I'm still zeroed out right now with my physical, my physique, right? Because I had to go through all this bullshit with my guts. Right? But I know hopefully after March 24th, shit gets better. I get back to the gym. I build myself up. And hopefully by June or July, I'm looking way better than I was before. I'm going to come back better than I was before I went in for surgery on the 23rd of December. I'm going to come back better. I know I will. Because I've done it before. I know I know the process. I have accurate information and I have the will to do it. I know that's going to happen. I'm not going to go, oh, I'm fucked up. I'm old and my guts are wrong and everything's dead. Oh my gosh, I'm just might as well shoot myself. No, I don't want that. And so how am I going to put that into practice? Well, Reignite is one. Like Reignite, my group of guys, that's basically what we're here to do, is to help you rebuild yourself and reinvent yourself. That's the subtitle to the book, in fact. It's like a guide to self-reinvention, a red pill guide to self-reinvention. Oh, you can't reinvent yourself with a red pill. That's a fucking ideology. No, it's not. But Reignite is certainly a game plan. It's certainly a predictive framework. I love that term. That's what the red pill leads you to, is a predictive framework. Is it accurate all the time? No. But if it's accurate 86% of the time, you can still build something with that. It's not like, what do they say? Like 80% done is better than 100% undone, or not done at all. Better to have, like, what is good, what perfect is the enemy of good. I would rather be 86% than 100% wrong. So let's see. Can toxic masculinity, oh boy, here we go, and male agency be considered synonymous? I've noticed an uptick in the term recently. Male agency or toxic masculinity definitely has seen an uptick recently. I think one of the reasons why toxic masculinity has been a thing is because you see governments actually trying to limit and censor Twitter with the express intent of squelching the voices of myself, Andrew Tate, anybody who they deem as toxically masculine. Me telling you just with the unvarnished truth about female nature without saying, oh, but men do it too, right? If I do that, if I just give you facts and I don't tell you how to feel about it, I'm being a toxically masculine fuck. I'm a misogynist for doing that. Especially, if I'm saying something that's sort of unflattering about male nature, that's okay. I've said in the past, and I actually said this on Dr. Phil. I said, we only celebrate masculinity when it looks like femininity. We celebrate it when The Rock puts on a pink tutu and does the Tooth Fairy movie. It's so good. Oh, it's The Rock. Ha ha. Oh, he's getting in touch with his feminine side. That's such positive masculinity. That's not toxic. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity, period. Male agency, like if there's a conflation between male agency, meaning male power, really, like an ability to sort of enforce a man's ability to enforce his own will, a man who is a hyper agent, right? Not a hypo agent. He happens to the world. You're always going to, whenever you impose a male will on the world, even when it's meant to help other people, it still seems toxically masculine because it came from a dude. If you have a penis and you try to like make the world better, you're a misogynist for having done so. Unless you're a male feminist, unless you're celebrating your femininity while you're doing it, right? There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There is only masculinity, and there are the aspects of it that align with gynocentrism, that align with a female correct social structure, a female correct narrative, and there's the parts that don't. So it's not toxically masculine when the firefighter runs in and uses his masculinity and takes charge, and his leader, you exercises his leadership and goes in and saves the baby from the burning building. That's positive masculinity. But that's the same impulse that makes guys, go bungee jumping or do those stupid stunts that risk their lives, like jumping across really high buildings and rolling and tumbling and all that shit. Or what is it when you're jumping off of, like, I keep seeing this in my feed all the time. You're jumping off these really super high cliffs and they'll throw a rock over onto the thing. Well, why do you throw the rock? You got to see where the rock lands. So okay, that's where I'm going to put my ass, right? And aim for where the rock was. That's masculinity. That's taking a really stupid, crazy risk. But it's also taking a risk, running into a burning building to save a baby. One of those risks is you're a fucking toxically masculine shitwad. That's what it is. But it's the same masculinity. And we have to accept that. Well, men are innately aggressive and men kill men and men kill women and men are violent. Yeah, we are. And what else? Yes, we are. Oh, well, that's toxically masculine. No, it's not. It's not when I save your life from the guy that was going to kill you. It's not when it's not a we good? Oh, okay. It's not not toxically masculine when it serves a female imperative, when it saves women's life and limb or the babies, That's the difference, right? But the thing is you can't accept the proper good use of masculinity without also accepting that the fact that maybe guys they want to ride wheelies down the fucking street to impress you. Maybe they want to drive really fast cars. Maybe they want to, yell and scream and fucking fight. That's masculinity too. But you don't like that because that makes you like, women don't like that, so it must be toxic. Fuck you. The only reason you see it as toxic is because you have been raised in a social condition of female correctness. Men aren't even human. Men are subhuman to that mentality, to that ideology for sure. Men don't exist. Men aren't human. You're not human unless you can be more like a woman. You're not human unless you go to therapy. You're not human unless you cry at the end of the Titanic. You're not human unless you listen to her talk about the nail in her head. I was just talking about that recently. If you haven't seen that, I should probably show that. I don't know if I have the movie. I don't think I have it. Do I have that? What about the nothing? It's not about the nail, right? It's only like a minute and a half, but it's like the guy's sitting on the couch and there's the woman, she's got a nail in her head. And she's like, I have this feeling, this horrible pain in my forehead. And she just wants to vent about the horrible pain in her forehead. And the guy's like, well, I bet if we took that nail out of your head, you wouldn't have that pain anymore. She's like, it's not about the nail, because she wants to talk about it, because feels before reals. The reals would be, well, let's solve the problem, right? And I was texting about, I was on Twitter talking about this recently. And I was like, at some point, if you're the guy on the couch, you're going to have to either get up and leave the fucking couch and leave her to her own bullshit, or you're going to pull the nail out of her fucking head. That's the end result of that, because you can't sit. It is unsustainable for you to sit there and be a good listener and to be, a good supportive husband, boyfriend, listening to her bitch about a problem that you could solve by simply pulling the nail out of her head. So the choice is this. So in a female correct society, that guy is a non-toxic, good husband, good listener, good guy, good male, if he sits there and listens endlessly to her venting her emotions, talking about problems, complaining about this, complaining about that. And the nail can be anything. It can be like, oh, men are dogs, right? It could be like, oh, I don't make enough money. Oh, my cooter hurts, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the problem is. It's her talking about it, her expressing the feelings about it and everything else. And at some point, that's no way to live your fucking life. But in a female correct society where men are less than human, if you leave the couch, you're less than human. If you pull the nail out, you're less than human. But if you sit there and talk to her and converse with her and communicate with her like her girlfriends, then you're human. Then you're good. You're a good listener. Thank you. Thanks for being there. And it doesn't solve anything. It's no way to live your fucking life. And that's why guys are like, because men are deductive problem solvers. We want to get shit done. I would much rather you don't have that nail in your head so that you feel better. And we don't have to listen to this. We can move on. We can have a different conversation about something else, right? No, you're even suggesting that makes you a toxically masculine, because that they have to have a word for it. There has to be some sort of like classification for it. That's misogyny. It's misogyny if you want to solve my fucking problem. It's mansplaining. You're mansplaining because you want to pull the nail out of my head. Fuck you. I want to solve your problem. I care enough to want to solve your problems. But guess what? You think I'm being toxically masculine because I want to take the nail out of your head. I'm using the allegories. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be using metaphors again. But yeah, toxic masculinity does not exist. There's only masculinity. And if you think that it's, men commit violent acts and men rape and men do this and men do that. Yeah, we do. So that should mean that you should appreciate me that much more for keeping that shit under control, for keeping my violent tendencies, my innate evolved mental firmware that predisposes me to anger. And when I want to express my emotions, it's usually anger instead of crying about it. Then you wouldn't want it any other way, especially when fucking shit hits the fan. You don't want it any other way. Let's see. What happens if a woman didn't have a party phase, religious reasons or whatever? Does the rest of the timeline generally hold, or what happens? That's when you get into what I've explained. I explained this in the second book. It's also, you'll get into women go through another phase later on, usually around 30, where they are making up for missing out. If a woman doesn't go through a hoe phase during her 20s, it's usually because she had a kid and she has to play house and she has to grow up really quick. Or she gets married because of religious reasons. She married right out of church camp when she was 19 or something like that. In fact, you'll hear a lot of guys at TPUSA or say, you need to marry early and don't worry about the financial situations. Just get married and have a bunch of babies, right? Well, statistically speaking, the earlier you get married, the more likely you are going to be divorced. Why? Because women will start to live vicariously through their girlfriends, through their unmarried girlfriends or their sisters or whoever, or God, you can be Aisha Curry and go on, what is it, Red Table Talk with what's her face, Jada Pinkett, right? Yep. And complain that you want to look hot and you still want to be on Instagram and you still want to advertise your sexual availability, even though you're married to Steph fucking Curry, right? You still want that. That's a girl who got married. She's got babies, married early, and she's missing out. She feels like so she'll live vicariously through her girlfriends up until the point where she can't hang with it anymore. She either can appreciate what she has or she doesn't. And unfortunately, in today's gynocentric social, or women don't appreciate that. Is Steph Curry the best I can do? You look at Aisha Curry, yes, definitely. He is the best you can do. Don't fuck up a good thing, right? But you'll see women will do that anyways. You know, Giselle didn't have to, dump, Tom Brady. We always see that in celebrities where we go, I love it when like black pill doomers are like, well, it didn't work for Tom Brady. How could it work for me? Yeah, okay. But you're not Tom Brady. and the chicks that you're going to get are not going to look anything like Giselle. Or Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. If it couldn't work for Johnny Depp, well, this is Amber Heard we're talking about. Shit on the bed, Amber Heard. Maybe you want to find another celebrity couple that broke up. I'm not sure that's not the win you're looking for. But yeah, women still go through that party phase. It's just that if they are contractually obligated to live a different kind of life, whether it's religious or they got married or they're single moms or whatever else, logistically they can't do it. It's not that they don't want to. They just live vicariously through their girlfriends or through social media or through the Bachelor, or the women will find a way to sort of like try to find. It's almost like pornography. Pornography is just unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, which is the male, the male sexual strategy. It's when we talk about dual mating strategy for women. Men's mating strategy is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. Right? If a guy could get laid all the time with different chicks all the time, he probably would, unless he has some sort of mitigating factor, like you're Jeff Bezos and you don't believe in that. So maybe it's a religious thing, maybe it's a logistical thing. Who knows, right? But there's going to be some factor there. But like for the most part, most guys, if they could live that lifestyle, they would live that lifestyle. It's just that they can't. They don't have those opportunities. Why don't more men cheat? Do men cheat more than women? Yes. Well, why don't more of them cheat then? Well, because they can't. They don't have that opportunity to do so. So for women, when it comes to like staying monogamous versus like having a hoe phase, you also find that like women later on when they get divorced, if they get divorced early, they get divorced like in their early 30s, they'll go through a hoe phase. It'd be a shorter hoe phase, but they'll go through a hoe phase because there'll be what I call making up for missing out. So there's this want to sort of explore your options. I think I forget who it was. Some celebrity chick was saying that she wishes she wouldn't have got married so early so she could like have had sex with more people. I forget the chick who said that. I don't know if it was some actress chick who was saying because she married early and she was wishing that she had more sexual experience as a result. But didn't work out for her that way. Whatever. Fucking Aaron Clary. Aaron Clary is calling. He wants to talk to me. He wants to have a call. Hold on. I have to tell him. In my show now.
Tell him to pull up.
Pull up. Come on, Aaron. Come on down. He's like, "Are you ready? Can you have a phone call right now?" Well, I could. What should I put? Should I put him on? I should put him on. Yeah, I should have him call your number when we put him on the Bluetooth. What is so fucking important, right, Aaron? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Do they still go through a hoe phase? Yeah, there's the sort of the making up for missing out phase. Women do go through that hoe phase. It's just that they kind of have to do it vicariously. Let's see. The Miami shenanigans was a big setback. Yeah, I think so too. I'm not saying it was a setup, but it was a setup. But it certainly fits a pattern. And as I said before, in a week or so, maybe 10 days, nobody's going to care about this. Nobody's going to care about what Adam Sosnick said to Tate. I mean, maybe some of this will stick. I mean, Sneeko is actually enjoying a signal boost as a result of this, which is kind of amazing. But even that's not going to last forever. Stuff like this it comes in. It's the attention economy, and it comes and it goes. Like Mike Sartano has always said this. It's like, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. No one cares that, that was OJ Simpson was partying at Jing, with blonde girls who looked exactly like Nicole Brown Simpson. No one cared. Even the girls, they didn't even know who he was. They didn't care. What is it? What was the other thing he said? Oh, I know what it is. Donald Trump. Donald Trump was nailing Stormy Daniels while his wife was pregnant. Still been elected president twice. No one cares. No one's going to care about this either. You think if they don't care about that, they certainly don't going to care about this. Nothing. There's no one. I talked to Mike about this. I said, "Are you aware of what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah." We had a talk about it, and the first thing he said is, "It's not going to matter." And I go, "Yeah, it's not going to be career ending for anybody. Nobody's really losing any kind of capital as a result of this." But I will say, if there's a lasting effect, all it's doing is sort of degrading what everyone thinks is the manosphere. Oh, these are alpha males. Look at what they're doing. Look at I get enough shit for being on Access Vegas. I don't call myself an alpha male. I get if in a non-facetious way, right? I don't think I've ever referred to myself. Sometimes I'll jokingly refer to myself as a lesser alpha, and that's because that's what I qualified as according to Hartise or Royce's scale or measurement for whether you're a greater alpha, a lesser alpha, mid-tier beta, whatever it is. And that was way back in the day. But that's what everybody thinks. Oh, these alpha male podcasts. This is not what a real man does. You know how many people have already pointed their finger at Justin Waller and the Tates for that one picture of them in their suits that are really super tight suits and stuff like that. And I know Jay wears that because that's his style. That's what he does. But people, if you don't know who they are and you see that, you go, is this what the manosphere is about? Well, that's not a real man. A real man does this. He smokes these cigarettes and he wears these clothes and he wears these shoes and he goes to work and he loves his family and he loves the Lord and he loves his kids and da 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 da. They love this opportunity. There's nothing that's more reaffirming for their religion, their convictions, their ideologies, and for their brands than to see just this debacle, whatever. Maybe I'm not saying it right. Just this fuckery, that's going on. And, it is what it is. Again, you're just bringing down the tide. The tide, a rising tide lifts all boats. It also decreases all boats too. And you guys are doing nothing but lowering your tide's gone out, man. And for what? For a song? So you guys could all get together and yuck it up? I think what's funny is me and Mike can go and do Instagram live streams or whatever, either from Access Vegas or from behind the DJ stand at Zook or wherever Mike's at, or whatever. He'll go do Swimsuit USA in Cancun or something like that. Nobody says shit. Nobody says shit about that. But you put Tate in them and you put them in some B-list club. I don't even know what that club was. What was the name of the club that they were at? Because it wasn't Komodo and it wasn't Sexy Fish and it sure as fuck wasn't 11, right? Because there's way more chicks at 11, right? I'm like, where are they at? Because all I'm seeing is them and just a few chicks that are hanging around with them. And I'm like, what fucking club? And this is Miami. There are some really big clubs. Why are they at this one? And go to Komodo at the very least, because Fresh gets in there for free all the fucking time. I'm like, why did you not go there? Why did you select this one instead? It kind of raises my suspicions as to what the fuck was going on. But if I go and produce reels or something like that from Zook or something like that, nobody's going to go, oh, is this what the manosphere is really about? Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. The red pill is about is. It's not about oughts. Yes, it's not about what should be. It's not about shoulds. It's about what actually is. It's about the truth of what objective empirical truths. And ideally, I have to put a caveat on that too, because too many people think, well, Rollo, just by you saying that, it means that you have an ideological need to say that. It's like the chicken or the egg, man. It's like this circular logic. If I can't possibly give you data without the fact that me giving you that data is implicative or implies that I want you to think some way, right? I'm only giving you this data instead of this data. Or I'm only saying, like, if my interest is only about, these techniques or this nature of, or this mathematical equation for all I know. And I can show you how I can show you my work, my trigonometry. Here's how I came to this answer. I can show you that. But the very fact that I'm showing it to you in the first place, or I want you to solve this equation, means that I have an implicit bias in wanting you to understand what this is about, right? You can't get around that. I understand that. There's no possible way you can ever say something without there being sort of an implied reason for you saying that in the first place. Got it. But it doesn't mean we don't try. It doesn't mean that we don't give it the fucking college try and take a good stab at it. That you, at the very least, as much as I can be devoid of that, which I know is not 100%, but if I can get 96% devoid of it, that's a good effort. And then we can actually go from there and build from there. Let's see. I will say the reason Nick and company say bombastic things is because the novelty provocation are for branding. Yes, they are 100% for branding. That's all this is about. It's brand showcase. Here's the brand showcase. You've got the Tates, you've got Myron and Fresh, you've got Nick, you've got Clavicular, and you've got Sneeko. All of them brand. It's a brand showcase. This is what my brand's about. What's your brand about? Well, I make my kid sit next to me for 6 hours. I give him a drink of water, and that's good parenting. That's your brand. When what's that one video when Justin Waller is talking to Clavicular and he's trying to smoke a cigar like he's never had a cigar in his mouth in his life. Not Jay has. I'm talking about Clav. He's trying to give him some sort of like adult fatherly wisdom to Clav, and talking about like how he wouldn't have women he doesn't go out to dinner with women. He only brings them along for fucking, or they remain silent when he's going out he doesn't go out to dinner. He only goes out to dinner with people he wants to do business with, right? I know what he's talking about. I get it. But when other people who don't know what he's talking about hear that, they think, oh, that's what the manosphere is about. Oh, how cringe is that? That's what it comes down to. So it sounds bombastic. It sounds crazy, but it's not really that crazy. But then when you look at like Nick, and you look at Sneeko to a degree, and you look at some of these other guys who are like the very pro, the Groypers. Let's just say the Groypers. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Those guys, where do you go from there? Once you've done the Roman salute, what's next? Like, are you Amber Heard shit on the bed? What do you do after you shit on the bed? Like, how do you go one step beyond that? How do you escalate from that? How do you, Clav runs over a motherfucker. Where do you go what's next for you? I would be like interviewing Clav. So you ran over a dude. What are you for your next act? What's going to be your next act? It's like, where do you go for how do you top that? I guess he didn't kill him, but how do you top running over a dude with your Cybertruck? Right? Or Fresh. How do you, where is it?
God wants you to have the baby.
How do you get past this? What do you do that's better than a fake baby trap scare? What do you do that's better? What? How do you bring yourself up above that? And why are we asking that in the first place? Why are you not about the red pill? Why are you not about helping men better their lives? Why are you not about actually, because right now we have too many fucking enemies. We have as a collective, the manosphere as a whole. We have too many people who want to censor this. Hell, the governments of Australia, Canada, and the UK want to essentially squelch and censor the speech of me, of Myron, of Tate. They want to go and remove Tate from Romania, right? These are legitimate. If you don't think the government, if you don't think politics doesn't know the names of Myron and Tate, I want you to go read Kamala Harris's book about why she lost the election. She mentions them by name. They know who these people are. And if you don't think that they're not going to use those clips of them doing the Roman salute in those clubs as part of sort of a political campaign, as B-roll to sit next to, show that right after an ICE beatdown of some, immigrant that they're going to deport, right? If you think that that's not going to happen, I got news for you. It'll probably start happening about August when you start seeing this really political agitprop that gets really ramped up. That's when it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen then, it's going to happen when Gavin Newsom runs for fucking office in 2028. And trust me, it's going to happen. Because he's the only one with the used car salesman look. He's the only guy that can pull. Because remember, Clav said I would vote for Newsom before I would vote for JD Vance, because JD Vance is a fat fuck. It doesn't matter if that he's on our side. So what should we do? We got to get JD Vance to start doing facial breaking his jaw and get him to,
he has the hard max.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah. We need to get him on trend and shoot him up with a legal dose of methamphetamines, right? And then get him away from his Indian wife. Jesus Christ, man. That's your brand. That's what you're promoting instead of defending this stuff, instead of being on point, instead of talking about the praxeology of male nature, female nature, the confluence of the two of them, what's going on. And you can base that in society. You can base that in religion. You can base that in just evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology. There's so many places you can go with this. But no, you're going to say JD Vance is fat. That's gets more eyes on the screen. That's all that matters. This is like P.T. Barnum world. Like nobody cares about what's going on. It's like there's a sucker born every minute, and it doesn't matter if you love me or hate me. Just spell my name right in the fucking newspaper. That's all. That's the belief. It's just business, man. Well, guess what? It's not just business to me. I didn't, like I said, like Nuno Betancourt was saying, don't do this for the money. The fame, the money, everything else, that'll come later. But unless you can be authentic about it, unless you can be genuinely about your mission, about your passion, about your art, about your music, about this, unless you're would you do, if you're a musician, let's just put it in music terms. If you're a musician, you probably already know the deck is stacked against you, to be a success. I mean, there's some good musicians, there's some really good bands, but you're never gonna hear them because Spotify owns the fucking world. Spotify owns everything. And to be a musician today is to just sort of be resigned to your fate of being poor. I think it was Gary Holt from Exodus. And he also plays in Slayer too. Yeah. Gary Holt was in an interview and he says, we're just basically t-shirt salesmen who play music. That's what it's down to. The only way you make money in the music industry is merchandise. Yes, is on the road. That's why they tour. That's why you're going to see those bands at festivals.
You don't make money on your album, you make money on the tour.
He says we are clothing salesmen who happen to play guitar, because that's where, and why? Because that's the only way you can even pay for a tour, much less all the people you have to bring on the road and everything else have to go with it. Now, for bands that are already established, that might not be as big a problem, but for bands that are unestablished trying to make a name for themselves, statistically, you're not going to make it. I remember when I'd be in the 80s or 90s and I'd be like, I'm in a band, and chicks would be like, really? They want to fuck. Now you say, yeah, I'm in a band. They go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, what do you actually do for a living? I'm a silk screener. Yeah, I silk screen t-shirts. But that's so what do you do for a living? Are you about the red pill? Are you about the message? Are you about your craft? Are you about are you about actually helping guys out? If you're a musician, would you be a musician if you knew you weren't going to make any money out of it? You would never make money out of it. You might get laid. You might do it for the pussy.
There's still perks.
There's still perks for it, right? If you're single, you might get laid. But let's just say, just take away, you're going to be working at Guitar Center for the rest of your life, or you're going to be doing some side hustle or some side job all the time to support your addiction, your passion, your hobby, whatever you want to call it, of playing music and creating a really good band? Would you do it if there was no money involved? How committed are you to your, like, I like to play Warhammer. I like to draw. I like to paint. I like to I do all the thumbnails for this show. I do all the thumbnails for Access Vegas. I like photography. I like doing videography. I like doing all this stuff. In some ways it pays back because I might be able to do some kind of promotional kind of thing for myself. But by and large, I write off my equipment as tax, and I don't get dollar for dollar, obviously, but I'll write off more of my expenses than I will actually make off of learning and knowing how to use, Final Cut Pro or Premiere or Audition or Logic Pro, which I use for making music. Rollo, why do you always use that intro? The one I use for my thing. Because I did that. I didn't have to pay anybody for that. That's royalty free. Why? Because I'm the guy that did the fucking music. Okay. Giovanni Sanders, why do you always use that song for Access Vegas in the end of the show? Because Giovanni is a musician and obviously still working at Lowe's, and is a fantastic multi-talent of an artist, but he does it for the love of doing it. The same principle has to be applied to the red pill. Would you do this if there was no fame? Would you do that? Would you write about this? Would you be interested in this if there was no paycheck? Would you be interested? Would you do this if they weren't going to, like, if all of the interviews with Tom Beaulieu and whatever that big redhead kid name, I can't remember his name now, or Chris Williamson or Patrick Bet-David or whatever. If all of those interviews just dried up and you were just left alone to do whatever, would you still be in the manosphere? Would you still want to help guys out? I know what my answer is because it's been the same answer since 2002. Right? Do it, and the money will come eventually. The notoriety, I don't even say fame because for me it's not. I mean, I guess I get recognized in the airports, but which is nice. But I'm not an actor. I'm not a super big rock star or something like that where people are asking for their autograph or anything. I'll have people want to do selfies with me sometimes when I get recognized. But you want me to sign your book, I'll be happy to do that. But that's not what it's about. It's not about an ideology. It's not about a practice. It's about being about the red pill. It's about understanding this stuff. Like me, that's one of the reasons why do I work with Mike? Mike is very, very business oriented. Don't get me wrong. He definitely has a business, men of action, but he's about it. That's why I respect Mike. You're not going to see Mike going down to fucking nameless Miami clubs and playing Yay song, HH songs, right? Mike is. I'm pretty confident you're never going to see Mike flash the Roman salute anywhere. I'm pretty sure that's never going to happen, because Mike's got other things going on, man. Like sometimes I have to call. Like Mike usually hits me up like at 11 o'clock at night because that's when he's getting up and going out and doing shit. But like if I want to do anything with Mike will set it up with me. But like he's busy, man. He's got immersion. He's got MOA. He and I have talked about writing a book collectively before. But he's got other things going for him. And he wants to learn. He wants to be successful at his business for sure. But his business is helping other guys get out of the fucking rut. Same thing with Reignite. I just have a different demographic. Right? That's why I have a partnership with him and I have a friendship with him that is beyond just the business arrangement. He wants to play fucking Madden with me. I wish I was better at Madden. I wish I would be a better opponent at Madden. Like he wants to play Space Marine 2, I'll kick his ass. But like when it comes to Madden, I'm not that good. But we have other interests. Like if I come across something that like an article or something I read on Substack, or if I come up, like especially if it's new data. Like I was talking about like the new sexless data that just came out. I think I mentioned earlier in the show. The first person I send that to is Mike, because I know he'll use it. I know we'll use it in a show or we'll talk about it. Hell, even if all we do is have a conversation about it over our text, right? It's worth it to me because it'll help me think about new shit. That's why I do other people's podcasts. I'll do your podcast, even if you've got like 10,000 subs, right? 1,000 subs. I don't care. If I think that the conversation is going to be constructive and I'm going to get something out of the conversation, I'm going to do it. And if I think my audience or your audience is going to get something out of it, great, because that's the focus. That's the principle of it, right? I'm not going to brand build. I'm not going to get any more followers. I'm at 224,000 followers on YouTube right now. I've got close to 70,000 on Instagram. And then I want to say I'm like 186, 187 on Twitter right now. I'm not going to grow my brand by doing that, but it's worth my time to go and talk to you about stuff if I think I'm going to get something out of it sort of intellectually, or just like it's going to lead to another idea that I can actually write another essay about, or I can talk about. So that's what it means to be about it, not about, like Nuno Betancourt was saying, you absolutely cannot do this if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the brand building, whatever, especially today, right? Because it's just going to be a big disappointment for you. You have to be about it. You have to be passionate about the material. You have to be passionate about the evolutionary psychology, the biology, the archaeology, all the ologies, sociology, anthropology, endocrinology, neurology, all that stuff that contributes to the praxeology of the red pill. That has to be something you really, really love. And you would do it whether Spotify was taking all your royalties or not, right? It has to be something you're about. And that's what's going to create a body of work. That's what's going to be your legacy. That's how you get away from, you're just this little speck of dust in the galaxy. Yeah, but I know some shit, and I'm important now, and this shit is important now, and it might just be important to me, but guess what? I don't care if I'm a fucking piece of dust floating around in the Milky Way. It's important to me, and I'm the baddest ass piece of dust on this planet in this moment, in this time, right fucking now. Yes. I don't care if nobody's going to remember you, and people are going to live in your house, and your car is going to be a bunch of junk and everything. My car's going to be a fucking classic, dude. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to live forever.
It's going to be in
forever.
It's going to be in the Red Pill Museum.
Yeah. Speaking of it, let me run these out of here real quick. Isn't people freaking out over Tate, Myron, Fuentes, etc., being together in the club par with what you say that people fear men getting together? Yeah. It is. You'll see that. But see, that's the thing is because they do, that's where the criticism will come from. Oh, look. So when guys have their male space, this is what they decide to do. That's toxically masculine. Sieg Heil, y'all. It's like, that's what you're going to do. Oh boy, these are the alpha males you guys follow. Wow. What's funny is like, these are the guys, like, I know Myron's about it. I know they have been about it. They're still about it, right? Myron wouldn't have come to me and asked me to do a panel show to sort of talk about exclusively about red pill topics if some part of him wasn't like, you know what, maybe we should get back to nuts and bolts, right? He wouldn't. I was in the hospital, for fuck's sake. He would not have had that conversation with me if he wasn't still about it on some level, right? But when you go and when you pull shit like this, and it's this bread and circuses moment, that's what people remember. That's what people think the red pill is about. And that's why it's necessary to have that conversation. Like I'm trying to restart Rule Zero right now. That's why I want to get back to nuts and bolts stuff. It doesn't draw, like I'm at 1,800 people watching right now. It doesn't draw, like if I go and I do a show about, let's just say, any of the 9 Iron Rules of Tomasi, or if I do a show about the alpha widow dynamic, or the burden of performance, or whatever, select whatever concept I've come up with, that will never be as big a show or as widely watched a show as if I'm talking shit about Destiny, or if I'm talking shit about Pearl, or if I'm talking shit about Lauren Southern, and then or God forbid Michaela Peterson, right? if I put her face on the fucking thumbnail, guaranteed it's going to be a 3,000 view podcast, and I'm going to get super chats and everything. I mean, the first thing anybody's going to say is, "You always gossip. And it's like the one episode I do in like the last 2 years. It's always you gossiping. Shut up. Never fucking do it. Yeah. You know why? Because that's what you wanted. That's what the public demands. That's what they want. They want bread and circuses. That's why we're even talking about this bullshit right now. Right. Who's the king of the manosphere right now? Tate fell off. Now it's Sneeko. Hi, is it any real? Is it any red pill way to change the situation, the nail on the head, or the woman drama to intimacy in bed? Like listen to her and start Kino at the same time. those are two different subjects. How do you seduce them? How do you get a woman to get after it with you? Well, the thing is you want to get laid. There's a different set of things you need to do to get laid that have nothing to do with actually winning an argument. No man has ever reasoned a woman into bed. Okay. No man has ever kept a Excel spreadsheet and said, honey, here's 100 reasons why you should sleep with me tonight. In fact, if anything, that's going to push her away because now you're trying to sort of empirically show her why her emotions are wrong and why she should be fucking you and not the guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break, right?
Let me show you my cat delusion chart.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's funny because like I can show women like why. Yeah, here's why you should be fucking me because
look how rare.
Look how rare I am. I'm 5'11". I'm a white man. I'm 50 some odd years old.
Industrialist.
I'm a rich industrialist. I'm not overweight. I'm in very good shape for my age. I'm white, and I make $500,000 a year. Well, I am 0.0082% of the population. That's how rare an animal I am. And that's why you should fuck me. Guess what? Me bringing that up, she's never going to fuck you. Never. By those criteria, I mean, for guys who want to be deductive problem solvers, yes, women are so crazy because you can tell them all these wonderful reasons why they should be fucking you and marrying you and having kids with you and you should be their first choice. And they still go and they fuck clavicular, or they still go and they fuck the Dan Bilzerian, right? Yeah, because Dan Bilzerian's hot. He doesn't give a shit, and he leaves him with an emotional connection. You're not approaching this from an emotional standpoint. You're approaching it from an empirical standpoint. Women don't speak the language of empiricism. They speak the language of emotionalism. Now, if you're trying to solve a woman's problems and saying, you have a really big issue here, and that issue is the nail in your head, you have two choices. Pull the nail out of her head or leave the couch. Because staying there and talking about it, that might be okay for a time, but eventually you're gonna get fed up. It's like me, like whenever we have one of the girls on the show and she's like, talks about astrology.
I see Mike's face.
Mike and I now have different approaches to that, right? I used to be like, Mike, this is bullshit. Get the fuck out of here with this tarot cards, with ghosts, demons, whatever, chakras, angel numbers, MBTI, Myers-Briggs, your personality. Just go wipe your ass. I used to say that. Now I'm like, really? Because I lean into it because it makes for a good content. It makes for a good back and forth. Do I believe that? Fuck no. But I want you to align my chakras because I want to see what you're going to do because I think it'd be fun to do that. And I know that the people who are watching me know I 100% think it's horseshit. Mike's not like that. Mike doesn't have the patience for that. Like for me, that's me listening to the bitch on the couch with the fucking nail in her head. I'm like, tell me more about the nail.
Slow burn.
Astrology is the nail. Tell me more about the nail. Yeah, really. Oh, that's fascinating, man. But fucking nails, gosh, God, it must hurt a lot.
Let it fester.
And you let it. You go with it because the point is, I want to communicate and I'll fuck you with a nail in the head. I guess that's how it's going to work, right? Mike gets up off the couch and walks away. That's what he does. Or he'll pull the nail out and then get up and walk away out of the couch. That's his MO, right? For me, I know that it's bullshit, but I'll lean into it anyways and I'll just go off on it. But the thing is, you're asking two different questions. One is like, what do you do to get laid? And how do you organize your life? How do you solve a problem? And those are two different things. I might lean into, fortunately for me, being the rational male and understand, I am the game. I understand the emotional language of women, and so when I converse like that, if I'm on the show and I start saying, "Oh, you're a Libra, really? I heard Libras are really moody." You're artistic and moody. Yeah, that's kind of like me. So I'm back and forth. And so what people do is they like the idiot autistic literalist in the chat go, Rollo sold out. I can't believe he's not telling this bitch to go to hell. I don't know. I am. I am by going, new here? You must be new here. I'm playing this right now. And if you know me well enough, you know that I'm playing this. But the people who don't think that I'm selling out. I'm not. I know exactly what I'm fucking doing. But I want to keep the conversation going. I want it to be fun. I want it to be loud because I I can make that girl feel good about herself. And then everybody in the chat's like, right. Well, how come most guys want you to be like, say what you mean and mean what you say, right? Tell that bitch to go to hell. How come you guys don't kick these girls off the show? But that's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. Because that kills the conversation. Like I've seen shows on Fresh and Fit where they have kicked every girl off the show. Like every single girl has been shown. And it's just Myron and Fresh that are left. I was like, what are we going to talk about? Nothing. Like there's nothing left. Like if we did that on Access Vegas and we kicked off all the girls simultaneously off the show, everybody get up, get out of the room. And it's just me and Mike just blathering back and forth. And everybody says we talk too much anyways. Like, what do you want? How do you brush off rejection? Here's how you brush off rejection. You learn this very simple secret. Rejection is better than regret. Going and putting yourself out there, be outcome independent. That's how you brush off rejection. Understanding that just because you weren't successful this time means you're not going to be successful. It doesn't mean you're not going to be successful the next time. It also means that you analyze what you did wrong and you correct that. That's a learning. I hope you get rejected. I hope you get rejected more often than you get accepted, because you will learn more in the rejection than you will in the acceptance. Most guys, when they get accepted, they're like, oh, hey, thanks, Rollo. Learned what I need. Bye. And they never question why they're successful. And it's a curse to be successful on your first try. Because that all those guys who are like the naturals who are like really bad at giving you like dating advice. Just be yourself. I don't know, Rollo. I just smile at them and they want to fuck me, right? That guy got laid on his first try and gives you the worst fucking advice because he never has had to work at it. He never had to adjust his game. He never had to get rejected and then try again, right? God forbid you win on the first go, man. You don't want the cheat codes. You want to have your ass handed to you a lot so that you can develop the social skills and develop. You'll be like Clavicular. Clavicular had the cheat codes. Here's the cheat codes. Break my face. Shoot up trend. Shoot up whatever, look better. Good. That's definitely a cheat code. Chicks will pay attention to you. Okay, now that you look good, what are you going to say to her, right? A lot of people, like Mystery was saying the same thing to me one time. He's like, I really respect what Mike's doing, pre-selection, social game, social proof, all that stuff. But the problem is like once you, and Mike already accounts for this, but Mystery was saying like, once you get there, once you get into those situations, once you get into some sort of like network, social circle game, what are you going to, now you got the girl, she's there, she's interested in you. What are you going to say? You still have to be able to have some sort of riz, right? You have to have some sort of game or something like that. You have to have the social skills necessary to be interesting.
The mental gymnastics.
To have gambits, to have stories, to be a good conversational, get her to talk about herself, right? You have to be able to do that. You have to be somewhat interesting so that you can actually, because again, no guy has ever reasoned a woman into bed. You've got to have some sort of emotional connection. Yeah, she has to know that what your status is. Like Mike's very, very focused on status. Women fuck you because of your status. I agree. But how does she know you have status? Well, she can look at you. You walk in with some really hot chicks. They're with you. So that must be
you got to walk the walk.
That's pre-selection. Yeah. Okay, fine. But what if I don't have, what if I walk in there and I'm just me? Right. Well, I'm the rational male. I'm an international best-selling author. It's funny is I learned this whenever I go to Babes in Toyland. And I'll have these guys that will come up to me and I'll be walking across the venue, just sort of checking out everything. And I'm there because guys want to talk to me or they want to get a selfie or they want me to sign a book or they want to, oh, Rollo, man, you're so great. Thank you. Blah, blah. You get your flowers. I like it. I'm not going to tell you I don't. But I'll get recognized there. And I can walk across the venue. It'll be very crowded and like, women will still, they might have seen me on the show. They might have seen me with Mike. They might actually follow me on Instagram, but they don't realize they follow me on Instagram. They follow back. That's all they did, right? But then when a guy comes up to me and says, "Oh, Rollo, you saved my life, man. This is all. Hey, I can't." And then he'll go to his friends. "Oh, this is Rollo, blah blah blah." And the chicks there will stop. And then now suddenly you're someone that they want to pay attention to. So this is the social proof side of things, because it's not pre-selection per se. It's social proof is really for men and women and men, but it's about the social appreciation, like what you do matters. Pre-selection means that girl is fucking him, means I would fuck him, right? Those girls have pre-approved of this guy. It's Mike Sartain. He's been fucking this chick. That means other chicks have pre-selected him before. I want to fuck him too. He must have status. It's implied in pre-selection, right? But when I'm doing social proof, it's guys who are coming up to me and going like, hey, can you sign my book? Hey, you saved my life. Hey, now that I got you here, can you tell me how to get my girlfriend back? Or can I get a selfie with you? That's when women will go and they'll look me up on Instagram and they'll go, oh, he's the best-selling author of The Rationale. Now I want to get to know, hey, follow me. Now they want to have a conversation with me, right? So it's status does, getting to that woman realizing that you have status is the trick. But once she does, it's definitely a force multiplier for sure. Is a man allowed to resent the women who rejected him? You're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I think if you're going, like, what's resentment, right? A lot of times guys get into the anger phase and they're angry not because of, they're not angry at women, which is of course what everybody thinks it is. It's misogyny. So they're angry. Those red pillars are angry at women. They're angry at themselves. It's resent. And that resent is really not so much about girls. It's really about themselves for not figuring it out sooner. How could I have been so stupid? It's that, remember we were just talking about a minute ago, like that aha moment when you're reading The Rational Male, like, oh, that's why she did what she did. Oh, that's why I fucked up that relationship. I did this and she really, I speak Chinese and she was speaking English, right? It's that aha moment. It can be cause for resentment, but I think a lot of the, like, allowed is whatever you want to, you're going to feel whatever you're going to fucking feel. But I will tell you why resentment, like revenge, because it's just one step away from revenge, is not very productive. Like, why do you resent her? Because she doesn't fall in line with the way that you think she ought to be. Again, the red pill deals with what is, not what ought to be. It's not about should. Women should be this. Women should appreciate me for this. Women should. It's not about that. It's about what is. And then dealing with that and working yourself around that and finding ways to leverage what is instead of what you think should be. Because your resentment, I will guarantee you, comes from what your belief and what you think women should be. I've said this, maybe this is a good way to sort of get to the end of the show here, but the red pill does not exist so men will hate women. Let me say that again. It does not exist so men will hate women. It exists so you won't hate them or you won't resent them for what they could never be to you in the first place, for expecting them to have some sort of sense of duty or honor or morals or whatever your definition of like what she should be a virgin for me and she should wait to have sex because the Lord said so, and that's the like. But she's not. You can resent that all you want, but what is she's not. What is the way, the natural, the innate state of women's nature. That's what is. You can accept that or you can resent that, because what happens is when guys read my work or they become familiar with just the basic red pill concepts, the most basic concepts about women's nature, women are delusional. The reason why that title does well on a podcast is because it sparks that resentment, indignation in guys. Guys like indignation too, especially guys who've been raised to be defective women. They love indignation. Women aren't like this. Women are scoundrels. Women are you know, they're whores. You know, like John Zirkle, they're all whores. They're all whores. They're all prostitutes. You know. Yeah, if you have a transactional understanding of sex, they probably are all whores, right? But the guy who fucks, he doesn't think women are all whores. He thinks women are great. I think women are awesome. I love women. I love especially hot women with a fucking thigh gap, you know, and they don't have to have gigantic titties. They just have to have some boobs, right? Thin, nice peach ass. Like I have a very specific like ideals in mind. I know the brothers like big asses. I know there's lots of people like different things. I get it. You ask me what I think I like, I'm going to tell. I will be 100% straight up honest. But I don't resent women for not being that way. Like, oh, she doesn't have a Cranston. That's what she doesn't have a thigh gap. Oh man, all these girls are whores. No, or like I know she's not in a one-piece swimsuit. She's wearing a thong. She's wearing a tonga cut bikini. I don't care. I really don't. If anything, like I love it when people presume that I agree with their sort of like over the top, moralistic, like women should be modest and wear, I don't know, whatever that shit is the Amish women wear all the time. They should wear a frock or something. They should be a Hausfrau, German Hausfrau. No, I don't think. I live in Las Vegas. I appreciate each and every one of you ladies. I love all the girls that are on my show. I love all the girls who come to Access Vegas. One of my highlights of my week is making the thumbnail from your pictures off of Instagram. My wife and I look at your shots and I go, she looks good. We got this new one on. She's looking over. Oh, she looks better in this shot. Okay, yeah, look, her tits are sticking out. Let's grab that one instead, right? I love it. Love it. But I don't have any expectations and I don't resent them for every shot on their Instagram is like them in a bikini or lingerie, like as if like she comes into the show, she's wearing like sweats and a t-shirt or something. Where's the chick on the fucking photo? Because if all you ever did was look at them on their Instagram, that's what you would think, right? Well, if that's all you're thinking about all the time, then yeah, I can understand why you would have some sort of resentment. But resentment comes from women not matching what you think women ought to match, right? And it doesn't have to be the way they look or that they're not virgins or they have a body count or whatever else. It could be just simply the fact that you didn't click with her. Like your personality doesn't jive with her. Or maybe you fucking dropped the ball. Maybe you just fucking stepped on your dick and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all women are like that. I don't think so. I mean, just try it again. Oh, they all have boyfriends. I've got a boyfriend. What was that guy doing? Well, what was it? Like? I wish they would have shown him shooting a shot because all they showed was like, I have a boyfriend. Well, first of all, what does this guy look like? Number one. Number two, how does he approach these chicks? Hey, you want to go on? I'll put a ring on. He's like, I'll put a ring on your finger. Yeah, I would run too if I like, whoa, Even clavicular, man, gets shot down. Even clavicular. And then what does clavicular do? He resents the chick. Like, well, he has to call them ugly. Like Lena the Plug. Yeah. Lena the Plug is like a 5.5 to clav. And I thought that was funny as hell.
I can't let my cortisol rise.
Yeah.
Rollo.
Or like he'll be on Fresh and Fit and he'll rate all the girls. Like, because the first thing anyone in the chat wants him to do is, hey, get Clav to rate all the girls. And of course they do.
Them.
Yeah, of course they do. And they're like, and he'll tell you why you're ugly. Oh, your septum is this way, or your nose is like 4 millimeters off from symmetrical like visual center. It's like he's an interior designer or some shit like that. And the chicks, they hang on his every word. And but does that come from a position of resentment? I don't think so. But does it play well on the show? Absolutely. But yeah. I think resentment is something that it's not good to hang on to. Just like revenge is not something, although I wouldn't really even call it revenge. Like guys really want women to get their comeuppance. They want Clav to go on there and tell girls they're ugly because they could never tell the girl that she's ugly, right? You have to get over that, especially if you want to have a relationship, if you want to get into it, if you want to get laid, like Ryan Stone says, like all these black pill doomers are a blowjob away from being a trad con. Yeah, pretty much, If you were successful at it, I got to get my inner game on point. No, you need to get your outer game on point, and then your inner game will be pretty much taken care of once you're getting your dick sucked on a regular basis. If you go to the right club on the right night with enough alcohol, if you don't smell bad, comb your hair, have basic swag, sense of humor, and try enough times, you can land a 6 on a given night. But do you want to? Yeah, okay. But guess what? How about this? You land a 6 on that night, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to go for an 8 this time. And then you get a 7 or 7.5. Like I said, go big. It's better to go big. It's better to shoot high and fail than it is to shoot low and succeed. Because what's going to happen? You got the 6, right? But you're already a 7, but you got the 6. Now you're stuck with the 6 because she thinks you're the best thing since fucking sliced bread, man. Rollo, have you done a show on Blue Pill Alpha? Several times. Mike Rashid, that comes to mind, right? Mike Rashid comes to mind. But Mike Rashid I've called him a Blue Pill Alpha in the past, and definitely alpha. Don't get me wrong, definitely alpha, but still very much adheres to a blue pill way of outlook on life, and not likely to ever bust out of that at any point. I think people get confused because they think that alpha and beta and blue pill and red pill are like in some way connected. Like you have to, if you're alpha, you must be red pill. No. Those are mutually exclusive. You can be a blue pill alpha and you can be a red. There's lots and lots of red pill betas. In fact, there's next to nothing but red pill betas, right? Those are the doomers. Those are the MGTOWs. Those are the nihilists.
Dreaming of something they can't achieve.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots and lots of red pill beta guys. And it takes a lot. I mean, and are there blue pill beta guys? Absolutely there are. Those are like the worst of the worst. Guys who are betas, who can use the red pill to sort of get out of that state and become red pill aware and can improve themselves. The odds are you could possibly become a red pill alpha, or at least break yourself out of that and be better off for it because you now have accurate information, right? But are there blue pill alphas? Yes. Are there red pill betas? Yes. Don't think that those are mutually exclusive. What's this? No chicks in the club get dolled up all night just to fish for a 6 guy. Yeah. That's why I keep saying you don't want to go for parity, man. You want to aim for the fucking moon, dude. You know? Aim for the stars, and if you hit the moon, you hit the moon. Right? I mean, take the shots. Go out there and do it. The guy that got shot down with all the when the girls were saying, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," at least he was out there doing it.
Yeah.
At least he did it. I mean, all these bitches all don't want to have anything to do with me. They all use it's called the boyfriend disclaimer, right? I have a boyfriend. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they just simply want you to go away. So at some point you got to sort of say, well, why are they all doing this? What am I saying that's provoking that? It's too common a response for this to be for real for all these girls. What am I doing? How am I coming across? How can I adjust my game? Right? Go back to the lab, say, okay, guys, what do you think? What should I do this time? Should I get in better shape? Should I do this? Should I say that? Whatever. Go out there, take it back to the field, and then experiment. That's why the red pill and game are symbiotic, right? That's why red pill is the theory, game is the practice. Now, game could be any practice. It could be pickup artistry. It could be day game. It could be social circle game. It could be cold approach. It could be a direct game. It could be whatever, whatever. That's a practice. But the theory is, here's why I think this practice should work. Take that out into the field, get shot down, succeed, whatever it is, then take all of the data that you learned from that experiment, for better or for worse, bring it back to the lab where the red pill processes and says, okay, here's why this probably didn't work. Here's why. Adjust your game this way. Go out there on Friday night and try it again, right? Because game doesn't exist without the red pill, and the red pill doesn't exist without game, because red pill needs you to go out there and experiment to make sure that the hypothesis is actually something that's worth following, right? Same thing for the practice, right? Each one is incomplete without the other. You have to have theory and you have to have practice. Red pill and game. You have to have those things, and they have to work together. When you separate those things, it's just about looks. That you're separating game from the red pill. Right? And it's not just about looks. It's also about, communication. It's also about social skills. It's also about your style. It's also about the environment that you're in. You're at a club instead of Barnes and Noble.
How to maximize your sex appeal.
What can you, would that line, like all those girls that said, I have a boyfriend, would that have worked, whatever he was doing, would that have worked at a different environment? What if you took that to Paducah, Kentucky? Yeah. What if you tried it with a girl who, like, most of those girls were like 6s and 7s. What if you tried that with a girl who's a 5? What if you tried that with a girl who's a 9? Right? Would it work better in Vegas? Would it work better in, Seattle? God forbid. Everybody's in Snowmageddon right now watching. This is why I have an audience right now, because everybody's trapped in their house watching the Astral Male. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about. Because I love this analogy, right? Because so many people say, well, if all you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. Like, okay, but that's not what the red pill is. The red pill is a toolbox. I've referred to it as a toolbox since day fucking one. In the very beginning, and there's a chapter in my first book. It's called Imagination. I refer to your game skills as a toolbox. It's not just a hammer in the toolbox. There's needle nose pliers. There's an open end wrench. There's a screwdriver. There is definitely a hammer. There's all kinds of, it's like a paintbrush, right? It's like doing art. I have paintbrushes. I got my turpentine. I got my colors. I got my oil colors. I got my palette. I've got my palette knife. I've got, all this stuff. And here's the canvas. What am I going to do with this? It's not one thing. Red pill only teaches these guys, will give them a hammer. No, they don't. And anyone saying that, ignore them. You're useless. You're just saying shit, pulling shit out of your ass to straw man the red pill. That's pretty much where everybody goes with this anyways. But
I'm not here to cope.
Not here to cope. Speaking of cars.
Oh yeah.
I've been in the process of selling my wave runners. And they're on Craigslist right now. And I had a guy hit me up and asked me if I was interested in a trade. He wanted to trade me a 1996 Mustang Cobra. And I looked up the blue book for it, and it's a black on black. It's a convertible, which looks an awful lot like my convertible Camaro, right? But I looked it up, and this thing's a collector's item car. It's a Shelby Cobra version of it. I didn't even know they made a Shelby Cobra in 96. And the look of it just doesn't look very aggressive. It's an 8-cylinder car, and it's light as fuck, and it's fast as fuck. What do we look at? What was the horsepower on it?
I think it's 30 something.
306, 304. That's, for a car that size, that's pretty good. And they also make a, where is it? 4.6 liter engine, 305 horsepower, 300 pounds per foot of torque. Borg Warner T45 5-speed manual transmission. God, how fucking awesome would that be? I bet it sounds good. I bet it sounds really good. But I know that there's a version of it with a Pro Charger on it too. But the dude wanted to trade. He wanted to trade that car for my wave runner, because my wave runners I'm asking for about like 12 or 13 for. And he wanted to trade, and I looked it up and said, "Is this really worth a trade?" And then I looked it up, and it's about a $13,000 car in like good condition, and this one was. But it doesn't save I wanted to get rid of the wave runners because I'm really not using them that much, and I'm paying for a storage facility to keep them, right? And it's really, I would just have to put the other car there. So I'm like, this doesn't really solve my problem. Yes, I still have the Camaro Jack Napier. I will probably not be getting rid of that Camaro anytime soon. And the 300 is right behind me. It's right down. We now have an extra parking slip here at the studio. So that's where the 300 is. And my Tacoma is my get around car while I'm still convalescing. So, but anyways, I think that's about it. Let's see. But Rollo, if you're seriously lacking experience with approaching girls, wouldn't it be better to target some 5s first to get a few under your belt? Yeah. Okay. Well, yes. And I've said this before, and I've been run up the flagpole for saying this by the likes of Alex from Playing with Fire. But I'm of the opinion that there is no opportunity that isn't a good time to use game. There's no time. Like I practice what's called catch and release game, because I'm not cheating on my wife. But if I'm at Babes in Toyland, or if I'm out on my own, or if I'm with some friends and stuff like that, and a woman seems to be kind of interesting me, I will definitely use game on that girl. I will stop. I'll catch, and I will release. Right. Or if I can help my brothers out, my friends out with that, I will. But the thing is I know that I'm not going to be, I can use game up to a point. Sometimes I get myself in trouble, like, because I already know where the conversation is going. So I have to, it's a good thing I don't drink anymore. Just put it that way. It's a good thing I can't blame it on like being hammered. Right. But but I don't think that there's any always default to game. If you read my book, the fifth book, Player's Handbook, there's a chapter in there that says always default to game. And so if there's a 5 and she's cute, she's funny, and it's working, go ahead, but like do catch and release. Like don't give her any promises of like, okay, like I would say probably don't have sex with that chick, because what will happen is if you're a 6 or you're a 7 and you're nailing 5 just to like sort of get your game chops, learn your riffs, don't do that to that chick, because you'll get into you'll get baby trapped maybe, but you'll get into a bad situation where there's expectations that are from that. But if you can stop at a certain point and say, okay, I would consider that a lay, I would consider that a success, then take what you can, learn from that, and then move on to the next thing. I wouldn't specifically look out like I'm going to go and hunt down some 4s and 5. I'm going to go hog hunting, and like you can do that, but I would stop short of anything that looks like commitment, because ultimately you want to get with something better than that, right? And not because, and don't be a dick about it, right? Have fun with it. I think a lot of people don't realize that games are meant to be fun. If you're not enjoying yourself when you're doing it, what are you doing it for? If you're going out and you're taking the time to, and the expense, I should say, to go out, to go to the clubs, to go with it doesn't have to be clubs, but go out with your friends, go to, where people congregate and everything else, and you're there with the intent to meet people, it got to be fun. The outcome independence, yes, but it should be fun. You should be enjoying yourself whether you get shot down or you don't. I know that's old school. Everybody says the same thing, but it's really true. So yeah, targeting a 5? No, but if a 5 happens to come into your orbit, there's no reason not to use game. Like I said, I do this all the time. Like I will use game in a non-lethal game. I'm firing rubber bullets when it comes to my game. Rollo, can you explain the languages of love is not in alignment with the red pill praxeology? That's because languages are bullshit. It's basically astrology. There is a book about it, and it is a trend here in Brazil. Yes, I know, love languages. I'll leave you with this. Mike has always said this, is like, everybody likes presents. I like presents. You like presents, but that doesn't mean your love language is presents. Love language is acts of service. Everybody likes acts of service. Okay. Everybody, like, you can apply every love language to pretty much generally to anyone else. That's why I say it's more like astrology. It's like everybody likes those things. Okay. Touch. I like touch. Do you like that? That's my love language. It's like blowjobs. Blowjobs are my love language, right? Oh, wait, I got to play this one. Do you know what the secret to a happy marriage is? This is it.
The secret to a happy marriage? We've been married 61 years. You want to know the secret? Yeah, what's the blowjobs?
Baby, look, I found the secret. You're not going to believe this. It's unbelievable.
She's not wrong. There's a secret to a happy marriage is blowjobs. Yes, that's true. That's my love language. My love language is blowjobs. So it's just, it can be anything. It's one of those things that's sort of a generalized thing. It's like astrology. Astrology is based on what's called the Forer effect, which means that people tend to believe things that are like positive statements about themselves, or like positive things that they can apply to their own personalities. It's also called the Barnum effect, by the way. But it's what astrology relies on, right? I'm an Aries, right? Aries are headstrong, and they're leaders, and they're creative guys, and they're ingenious, and they're innovators, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's never like, you're an Aries, you're an asshole. There's never anything like that. It's not, you're a narcissistic fuck because you were born under this fucking star sign or whatever. It's never that. Right? Gemini are brooding and indecisive, but when they do decide, boy, are they loyal. And it's this whole, everything sounds really positive. It's all reaffirming, right? That's the Forer effect. People want to hear positive things about them. That's why astrology is still around today. Saying, well, it's very similar to like MBTI. I'm an INTJ. By the way, Myers-Briggs is 100% bullshit. It's been falsified. It has been debunked, and you're still the reason why you even know about it right now is because we've standardized on it for like the workplace, We want the right fit here in our corporate culture. We need an INTJ or a JTF or where the fuck it is. I have not a WTF. We need that guy to be in the fucking driver's seat here. It's bullshit. It's astrology is what it is. But we still cling to it because those letters mean that you are decisive, you're a leader, you're this, you're thoughtful, you're conscientious. It's like the big 5 personality traits, right? Which have some veracity to them, but everybody likes to feel good. Everybody likes acts of service. Everybody likes the same shit. So how does that gel with the red pill? The red pill is just about truth. It's about, it's like analyze this, see what this is about. And it's like, it sounds like bullshit. It probably is bullshit. Anyways. All right, guys. Access Vegas this Wednesday, coming up on is it 28th? I think it's the 28th. So we'll be doing that back at Origin Studios again. Our show, by the way, is up for an award. It is. There's I think it's the 2nd or 3rd annual anniversary or whatever of Origin Studios, and they're doing an award ceremony for certain shows around the area. And I believe Access Vegas is on the bill for something. I don't know exactly what. Mike can't be there that weekend because he's going to be wherever the Super Bowl is, because he's doing Babes in Toyland for the Super Bowl that time. But I'll be there. And so if you guys want to join me there, I will probably make a big deal about it on Instagram. But if you guys want to hang out with me at Origin Studios, I think it's pretty much open to the public, so everybody can go and hang out. I think it might be an open bar. I hope so. Anyways, so that's coming up. That'll be on February 7th is when that's coming up. My Reignite show, I'm going to be doing a series of Zoom calls that are going to be open Zoom calls for Reignite. We're going to, Joe Marron and myself will be doing 90-minute calls, and they're open to everybody. So if you guys want to learn more about the red pill in general, and then also what the Reignite group is about, we're going to be doing those starting in February. So that's coming up soon. If you are interested in my group Reignite, please, the link is right down below. It's just reignitealpha.com. And it is meant to help you get back on track. Have you been zeroed out? How are you coming out of a bad divorce? Are you still a virgin at 40? Are you the 40-year-old virgin, right? Are you still trying to, build a life that the life that you want to live? Are you coming out of, like most guys come out of a divorce? It's easy to talk to guys who are like sort of post-divorce dudes. I don't want you guys to put a gun in your mouth. I don't want you guys to put a noose on your neck. I know that guys get kind of despondent, 9 times more likely to off yourself after a divorce. So, but a lot of guys don't see any hope, and they don't really see any way to sort of go forward after that. That's what Reignite is for, specifically for helping you rebuild into a life using red pill praxeology and principles and concepts and everything else to help you build a better life so that you can start doing what you want. Do you want to meet gorgeous girls? Do you want to meet stunners? I'm no funnel speak here, but we do fun shit. We go out to clubs sometimes we go to just bar and we do casual shit. We do big stuff here in Vegas. Sometimes we do Miami's coming up in the middle of May. We'll be doing our big Miami white party thing out there once again. I'm going to be doing the fishing trip. I'm considering doing 2 fishing trips this time because we had such a response for the other one, but we're doing at least one back on Captain Nelson's boat one more time. And usually I have 5, it'll be myself. So there's 6 people can go. So it'll be me and 5 other guys. We're going to go. That'll be open, but we're going to do a whole weekend out there. We've got some other stuff coming up in April. Once I'm free and clear of my health conditions and everything else, we're going to be really ramping that up. I really need to go do a book tour soon, which I can't do because I can't really travel right now. But as soon as I am able to, I will be doing a book tour. But again, if you're interested in Reignite and you want to actually, you want to do the work, you want to put boots on the ground, it's where we meet each other. It's where we talk. It's where we do fun shit and talk while we're doing it. It's not just a mastermind. It's not just a mastermind. It's also doing exercises. Sometimes we'll invite a bunch of girls to come in and they will have conversations with you. So you can practice your conversation and your social skills with these women. And we mix it up. Sometimes the girl's very open and very accepting. And then we'll say, okay, this time around, she's going to be kind of standoffish. what are you going to do? And so we will mix things up. So it's not always like a good thing for you. Sometimes there's going to be a little resistance. So we'll mix things up. And we have a group of girls, at least here in Las Vegas. Sometimes we do it in LA too. But we'll have girls that will come in and you'll do these exercises and you'll have these conversations with women, and that will help you sort of learn your conversational skills and how to sort of, learn your chops within a controlled environment, so that when you get into a non-controlled environment, you won't be like, I don't know what to say, Rollo. Well, guess what? Now you've practiced it. Now you're learning improvisational skills. You're learning how to adapt. You're learning congruence. We have guys that will help you with their style. We have guys that will help you with their fitness. We have guys that will help you with your money, definitely. We have guys who know a lot of shit about a lot of shit. And that's the strength of Reignite. We're not just, hey, we're going to throw you out in the clubs and go and practice your game. I mean, we will if that's what you want. But we customize and individualize our approach to each guy per whatever they think, whatever we see as their deficits, but whatever they think their needs are. That's the way that we approach it for each one of these guys. We have a school group, like everybody else has a school group, SKOOL. You'll find it at Reignite Alpha. It's on school. There's a public group, and then there's a private group. So if you're a member, you get to be in the private group. And then we have weekly calls. For me, it's every Thursday. For Joe, it's every Monday. So you're going to get 2 calls every day. So if you have questions or if you want to just talk and you just want to, a lot of the guys, they say the greatest strength about Reignite is that they like the camaraderie. They like the tribe. They keep coming back because they just want to have these conversations with guys, because a lot of them are going through the same thing that they are. If you're part of my Patreon group, I've just initiated this. If you're part of my Patreon group, I'm going to give you 1 Zoom call per month. That's part of Reignite as well. So we have a bigger group and everybody can sort of like bounce ideas off of each other. It's really great. I mean, I'm only supposed to do it for an hour, but I usually go for 2 hours because it's just, I can't stop. It's just such a good time. So we have that, and that's part of Reignite as well. If you're interested, like I said, again, it's reignitealpha.com, and we have different tiers of membership. I don't think we're really exorbitantly expensive. I try to keep it reasonable. I mean, I got to make money off of it, obviously, because I got to do the organization. I have people working for me, but other than that, it's like, we're not there to gouge you. We're not there to sell you sweet sunshine and snake oil and all this bullshit. Please, if you want, by the way, when we do events, you don't have to be a member to go to those events. You have to pay for the event, but you don't have to be a member to pay for those. If you're a member, you get in, but you don't have to. You can always just pay for that event and then go to an event, and then you can say, "Hey, this is for me. I dig this. This is fucking great." We've had several of our members have done exactly that. They'll go on the fishing trip, or they'll go to the swim week meetup at Babes in Toyland in August. And then they become members because they say, hey, this is great. I like doing this. I like doing the exercise. I like talking to you guys. I think I can solve my problems better by being a part of this. And my goal is not to keep, I'm not into churn marketing. My goal is not to keep you like the fish on the hook all the time. I want you to be able to solve your problems, live a better life. And then if you go off into perpetuity, great. I mean, give us good reviews, but go off and do your own thing. I'm not here to keep you going, to keep you in the churn. I want you guys to get what you need and then move on from there. And a lot of people have. We've already done that. We cycled through several members who have actually got what they needed, or solved what they needed to have solved, and they move on from there. So, and then, by the way, we also have Jim Kilgore. Jim Kilgore, he's worth the price of admission already. So, but
the Dos Equis man.
Yeah, the Dos. Yeah, he's the most interesting man in the world. Yes. We still have Jim Kilgore on board. But we got a lot of guys that are I don't want to say they're instructors, but they're like our professionals. There's the guys who are going to talk about style. Christian Baum from Jackson Maximus in Miami is going to be one of the guys I'm going to get for the summertime. I got guys for fitness. I got guys for entrepreneurship. I got guys, whatever you need. Tell me what you need. I'll be happy to get them. I have Aaron Clary, who wants to have a call with me, and I would very much love to have him be a guest speaker on one of the Zoom calls too. And then it's Q&A, and it's direct time. I'm still doing one-on-one personal calls. So especially now, because I have downtime, I'm going to be open to calls really right up until April. So if you want one-on-one with me, I'm still open for that. If you just want to join Patreon and join the calls, that's fine. We have a $200 tier for my Patreon. That gets you the one call per month, and it's usually 2 hours. You can ask if it's something that you think, I don't need to keep coming back over and over. I just want to talk to you. Okay, fine. Join that group, get what you need, and then take off. I'm totally fine with that. Please do. Same thing with Reignite. If you want to get involved, we have different tiers for that as well. So if you want to join, if you want to, and then also even if you don't want to join a group, you don't want to, that's too much for me, Rollo. Buy the book, buy Reignite the book, which is available on Amazon right now. Buy the book, because that's sort of the primer for the group, right? It brings together the sort of separate concepts that I've talked about in all my other books, and it makes them sort of synergistic. It shows you like how frame is dependent on your burden of performance, your mindset, your mental point of origin, all that kind of stuff. Everything is sort of like symbiotic. It's synergistic, right? I hate to use that word, but everything plays off of everything else. And that's I think it explains, it makes Reignite my book makes the red pill useful. And so if there's a problem you're trying to solve, or if you wondered why something works the way it does, Reignite is a really good book for you. Try that. Then if you really want to, join the group. So there you go. There's my pitch. All right, guys. I will see you guys next week. Thanks, Kyle, for running the boards once again. I am going to get you on Access Vegas at some point. I need a producer for Access Vegas who knows my shit. So hopefully that'll be good. And where can they follow you? If you want to follow my good friend Kyle. Kyle is on Instagram. Kylo Ren, right? Kylo Tren. Put it in the chat there so people
type
can
it in right now.
There you go. So you follow Kyle. You're part of this show. I don't know how that happened, but you became part of the Rational Male show. So it's good.
I'm the token Mexican.
Yes, you're my ethnic. Yes, you are. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Don't go to any Miami parties at no name clubs. Siege? God damn it. I'll eventually join Reignite, but I wanted to read through and learn old guy, TRP first. All the Rational Male books, Ryan's books, sidebars, as well as swapping notes with Jack and Nuke. Yeah, well, we're going to be doing that very soon on Rule Zero, which I'm going to host on Saturday of next week. So that will be at 11:30 Eastern time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday, 8:30 Pacific time. And we just had Miguel came on last time, and I had Aaron Clary on there. I'm going to see if I can get the gang back together again so we can actually get this off the ground and become a source of red pill information for people. That is not the Tates, is not Sneeko, is not Nick Fuentes, is not Clavicular. So we're going to give you nuts and bolts on Rule Zero. So with that said, I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time. She's not a Christian! But I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. Those guys are back! What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let go. Bound to keep me up all night. Good day, sir. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things are different. Population. Baby, one more again. You could have the best in my life. FBI, open up! Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and slubbing with her head like she's calling you Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me, ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting nasty, working up and down on your body. Run me,
I want to cast magic missile.
turning up my song on your body. Baby, we get down to it all night, but maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck
podcast has been a production of the Rational Mail. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2026. And don't steal Ned stuff.
Gotcha, bitch.
I prefer a good cigar and a bad woman. Say my name.
God wants you to have the baby.